Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos.
Here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time Stone, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB and CandleMafia. We got a special stream for you tonight, guys. That's right. I see you guys talking about it in chat. We have the GOAT, Gareth Soloway, on tonight. Super excited to talk to Gareth. We talked about a lot of stuff last time he was on the show, and I'm super interested to hear what he has to say. He's always bringing those knowledge bombs, or as I like to call them, the sauce bombs. And yeah, we talked about a lot of stuff last time he was on, and I'm really curious because I feel like the last few times we had him on, there wasn't much going on in the market. We either came down a little bit or just kind of went sideways, and we finally got some crazy price action. So there's going to be plenty to talk about, and I'm really pumped to hear what he has to say. But before we get into it, guys, don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, you guys will get a spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure, where I think we're going to be adding some extra stuff. We're going to add some extra stuff to the wheel. It's going to be super cool. And yeah, I think we're going to maybe add some free Frankie Candles YouTube memberships to that wheel. But guys, before we jump into it with Gareth, let's just go ahead and say what's up to the Mafia really quick. Let's see who we got in here. Shout out to Theo Rodriguez. Thank you for being here, bro. We got Dave Digital in the chat. As always, happy to have you, bro. Thank you for being here. Dave Digital throwing out those bears. Let's go. Shout out to Brian Peterson. Thank you for being here. The Biomex in the house. What is going on, bro? Creighton C, what is going on? Thank you for being here. We got Willis4 in the chat. Said, time for free school. Well, hey. We got this is like free extra tuition with Gareth Soloway in the house. Unforgettable name. What is going on, bro? Crypto Pollo, or Bitcoin Chicken, as I like to call him. We got Eric Ward in the chat. Beffed up. What is going on? Augustino Allen. Jay Smith. What is going on, bro? And let's get a couple more in here. DJ Moss. We got Half Stack. Chemistry, bro. As always, what is going on, bro? Said, did you see the mutated toad print? No, I got to check that Discord. Got to check that Discord tonight, bro. I will definitely check that out. We got Hannah King in the house, our female. Not our female representative, that's Jessica. But Hannah King is like one of our female representatives of the Candle Mafia. But what is going on, everybody? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys so much. And guys, like I said, we got Gareth, the God Soloway, in the house, and I don't want to leave him waiting too long. So without further ado, let's go ahead and throw on those headphones. And you know what that means. Let's go ahead and welcome our special guest, Gareth Soloway. Gareth, what is going on, brother?
Hey, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, I'm sure you probably just heard me. Super excited to hear what you have to say because we finally got some moves in the market. It was getting kind of brutal coming on here like, guys, it's still going sideways. So super excited to hear what you have to say. So yeah, I don't think you've been on the show a bunch of times, and I think most people already know who you are, obviously. So let's jump right into it. Let us know, what you're looking at, if anything. How are you feeling about this most recent pump that we've gotten? Do you think it's sustainable? Do you think it's a bear trap? What's going through your head?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is really what we've seen in the last 2+ weeks, which is the banking crisis, right? So this banking crisis created, number one, if there's ever a reason to have something like a Bitcoin, the banking crisis proved it, right? So I love that from my long-term bullish perspective on Bitcoin and how I've believed in it for years as the digital gold. This just proved its point, right? The fact that banks are failing, fiat currency, bailouts, whatever you want to call it, and you have Bitcoin. And I think the beautiful thing about it is we've seen money flow from bank stocks and banks themselves going into Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, it hasn't been so much into the alts. If you look at the chart, in fact, let's jump right into the charts. I know that's what we love to do. But you could see this is your Bitcoin chart, right? So you can clearly see since that banking crisis started, you just ripped up in Bitcoin. And if you look at some of the other ones, like notice how Bitcoin's hitting a new high here over the last couple of days. But if you look at something like Solana, it's clearly has had a bounce, but it's not taking out the recent highs. So what that tells me is this is a run for what we call safety, which is in the crypto world, safety is Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? It's the safest cryptocurrencies out there, the least volatile if there is such a thing. And so that's kind of a cool thing because again, if you think about gold as the digital gold as Bitcoin, that's exactly its purpose. It's serving its purpose by seeing money flow moving into there. Now, having said that, if we go to Bitcoin again, my big question is we're up against the most monumental resistance level in the chart. Okay, so again, we've had resistance levels on the way up. We know that this was a resistance level right here. You can see we hammered it here and we fell back. But ultimately, this one is the most significant between 28,500 and about 30,500. This area to me is the biggest within this chart. And that's going all the way back to these highs. The reason it's the most significant is because it happens to be the mid-cycle bull low. So if we look at the bull market here, the M pattern, this was your lowest point. You consolidated right there and you broke down. So it makes sense that if Bitcoin is going to be really tested here, and it is, this is the level that it has to be to prove itself. Essentially what I'm saying here is that for me to believe that a low is in and the bull market is back and the bear market is over, we need to clear through this level and we need to hold above it for, let's say, a week. If we can do that, then for me, the lows are in for the cycle and we have to buy pullbacks at that point.
I love that. Super, obviously we are looking at that same level of resistance as it is the one we're currently hitting our head on. Again, we looked at this on my live stream last night. The importance of this resistance level is kind of what I wanted to hammer home. And we were looking at something very similar, right? Like we held that level so many times in the past, like kept us above that 30K level. And I remember when we got back down there were a lot of people saying, this is the super cycle. This is the bottom. We're going to 100K, everybody. And then obviously we wound up breaking it. But yeah, so you're saying once we break that level, hold up there for, say, about a week, that's kind of where you would flip from full bear or, somewhat bearish to just full bull. We're probably had the bottom. That's kind of where you're thinking the bottom's probably in.
Yeah, for me, this move up has been a great move up. But it's unproven. It hasn't made me say, okay, we're no longer in a bear market. I mean, again, we've had a great rally, but if you look at that chart, we're still closer to the lows than the all-time highs on Bitcoin. And again, great move, but we're only at 28,000. We were at 69,000. So it's a good move from 15.6 or so to 28. We touched 29 yesterday, I believe. But yeah, it's unproven yet that it's really a new bull market. This, to me, would be that level if we can clear it. The reason why I want it to stay above is because there's lots of games being played around options expiration with Bitcoin and stuff like that, where you'll see it get above just to stop people out and get people long, and then they'll whip it back down. So I really want to see it stay above for a good week. And then if that happens, you start to build a bull flag and potentially can go higher.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've been kind of saying to my community or the CandleMafia, we're kind of in a weird spot because, naturally for me, I see this big run and, even looking at some of the higher time frames, it's still a sizable move. And in my head, I'm like, red flags are going off, bear market rally, bear market rally,
right.
Bear market rally. So it's kind of a really weird part of the market where it's like, are we going to flip bull or flip bear? But it's nice to see kind of the line in the sand where if flipped, it's kind of, with that being said, before we jump into the CandleMafia's questions, I actually have a question for myself for you. If we were to hop on top of that golden pocket or that $30,500 level that you just showed, if we are able to hop on top of there, hold up there for a week, and we wind up getting another move up, do you have any higher targets above that $30,500 level you're looking at yet, or you're going to wait till we flip?
Yeah, no, there definitely are some targets. In fact, we can jump back to the chart. One of the targets that I would look at would be a confluence of technicals, right? So if we do a Fibonacci retrace, what we can see, and we draw that fib from the 69 high, is number one, we're right at a 0.236 retrace right now. That's the level we're hammering on. What's fascinating is that we can see the 382 Fibonacci retrace is right around these lows right in here. So that would kind of draw my attention is when you have pivot points that match up with that fib. So it looks like 35.5 would be your next level after that. That would be quite a bit of resistance. And lastly, and I'll just, obviously there's levels all above, but one of the lines to also keep an eye on would then be this upsloping trend line here, where we hammered here, and then finally broke down, a retrace to that kind of pseudo head and shoulders, if you will, or just M-ish pattern, this level up here. So those would be my next two big targets, 35.5 and 43,000. Now, for me, just a reminder, folks, is if we do hold above 30,000 or 30,500, it doesn't mean that all of a sudden I'm going to go all in, right? Basically, what it means is that we'll still get pullbacks, but we buy into support now. We start really buying that support level. So, for instance, if we get above 30,500 and we go to 35.5, then when it pulls back to, let's say, 28, I'm a buyer there. I'm a net buyer. If we pull back to, down to 25,000, I'm a net buyer at those levels. So it kind of changes your mindset where I do swing trade on the long side. In fact, in my service, I've done long trades recently where we were playing this up move, but I'm very quick about it. I'm in and I'm out because overall I still view it as a bear market versus once we're in a bull, you let them run a little bit more.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I think we always say flip bull or flip bear, and I think it's kind of nice to hear that explained a little bit. Where it's like if you flip bull, that's where you're buying that support, and when you're more bearish, you just want to kind of sell the tops or sell the pumps.
Right.
So absolutely. Hey, who said they're here for free school? Here it is. But yeah, guys, smash that like button if you're enjoying this content. If Gareth is dropping those knowledge bombs for you and you're finding value, hit me with a hashtag value in the chat and smash that like button for Gareth. Now, Gareth, let's go ahead and jump into some of the CandleMafia questions because there are some really good ones here. The first one comes from Caleb Marshall. He says, Gareth, I guess, we kind of covered this a little bit, but I'll just ask it anyway. Gareth, do you still think the bottom is not in? What will it take? I guess we could skip that one. We basically just went over that. If we flip that.
One thing to add, though, too, is that, again, there are issues that, and again, the charts are always right. So, again, the charts are what the ultimate arbiter of truth or not is. But, just to mention a couple things, like I still have never experienced a low in any bear market where we've had so much bullish sentiment in an asset. And that's concerning to me. I mean, it's uncharted territory for me. I've been through the .com collapse. I've been through the, Great Recession collapse. I've been through oil bear markets, and really the first big move off of the lows, everyone's usually so scared. And by the way, this was the same way when we were in the bear market of 2018 into 2019. I still remember when we were at 10,000, even though we were up 200% off of the 3,500 low, people were still being like, no, this is too scary. Bitcoin's done. And you don't have that now. And that's kind of weird to me. And I don't know what to make of that, but it's one of those red flags that I'm just a little nervous about.
Yeah. I was talking to TJ at the office and just kind of talking about that 15.5 level. And I'm like, I didn't really get, I feel like in the last bear market, there was just everybody and their grandma were calling for, Bitcoin's a scam, Bitcoin's dead forever. Right. And I just didn't feel that. And, I always wonder, it's like, maybe we're jaded because we spend so much time doing this, so we're just numb to the pain. But it just didn't feel like a bottom to me, if I'm being 100% honest. It definitely does feel different. And the fact that you were just saying, you went through the .com bubble, all this other stuff, like you have legitimate things that you're kind of comparing this to, and it's just completely different. But again, like you were saying earlier, we have the banks, the banks collapsing, all this stuff. You think that is all basically a net positive for crypto?
Yeah, longer term, 100% a net positive. I mean, it just proves it again. And not only that, but just the reaction in Bitcoin, to see Bitcoin actually respond gives it validity to people that maybe were even questioning Bitcoin's relevance. Well, it's like, dude, look at the price action. Like banks are dropping 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 80%. They're failing. And Bitcoin was going up. So that really helps the long-term narrative. My bigger issue is that you're still seeing it, like when we saw the stock market today collapsing intraday. So there was this period where we were up a lot, and then all of a sudden we fell sharply before recovering at the end of the day. Bitcoin also fell during that period. So the bigger question for me is, if the stock market does have another 25% down or 30% down, how does Bitcoin navigate that with panic and risk assets? And again, you just see this kind of bleeding over where people are still selling Bitcoin and Ethereum. So again, that would be just one of those things. It's I don't necessarily believe, I mean, there might still be other blowups in the crypto sector as we're waiting for regulation. But for me, it's more now an asset that if the bigger economy slips into recession, and by the way, yesterday, huge day. We had the Federal Reserve basically saying, hey guys, rates going up 25 basis points. But the biggest takeaway was they said rates are going to stay high into 2024. So we're not going to get rate cuts unless there's like a catastrophic economic collapse, which would be bad anyways for risk assets. And the fact that rates are going to stay high for this long, it basically ensures that we're going to see a recession. So that means stock prices eventually have to come down. And the question is, can Bitcoin weather that storm during that period?
Right. Yeah, and that kind of leads me into the next question. Alex Green, he was asking, are you so this is it's kind of a two-part question. The first part is, are you expecting more upside before a breakdown, or do you think if we are going to get over that 30,000 or up to that $30,500 level, you think we're going to break down first and then get a leg up, or you think we're going to go up and then get the pullback?
Yeah, so for me, it's recognizing this range. So I do think there's a chance, especially the way Bitcoin's reacted the last couple of days, where it's fallen and then kind of rebounded. That tells me that there's some buyers still there that want to push it. So you might get up to that 30,000-ish Pierce level. We know that even numbers have a tendency also to kind of want to be tagged. There's psychological levels. So for me, it's there might be a little bit more upside, but for me, until we get above that 30,500 and stay there, I'm actually shorting Bitcoin into that level. So again, for me, it's all about when a resistance level is there, I believe in it until proven otherwise, because it's resistance, right? I mean, so probabilities dictate there's more of a chance that it pulls back off of that level until it's proven otherwise. Same thing with supports. As long as you have a support there, you buy that support until it fails, essentially, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I kind of treat it the same way, right? Like, risk management, like, hey, I'm short here. If we pop above this, I'm going to get stopped out. Now, kind of on that same note, I know you were just talking about how, the Fed is kind of hinting towards the fact that we will fall into a recession. Stocks will likely see more downside. Now, if that happens, right, say we see more of the banks go down and everything is kind of a mess. And I know you said that wouldn't be good for risk assets in general, but do you think that there could be a bull case for Bitcoin in that situation if the banks are going down? Or do you think it's because it's a risk asset, it's just going to go ahead and fall with the stock market? Or are we going to see a deviation?
Yeah, so I do think that if we all of a sudden see a bunch more bank failures, that would be a net positive for Bitcoin. My thinking is that the Fed will probably make sure that doesn't happen. They have their discount window open where basically these banks can go in, and they already have. They've borrowed like $100 billion plus out of the Fed right now just to shore themselves up. And the fact is that we've seen deposits above 250,000 guaranteed at the banks that have failed, right? So there's kind of this backstop that makes depositors not want to flee quite as quickly, which is good. So to me, it's like, yeah, maybe one more bank fails. FRC is one that's kind of on the teeter-totter of failing. But my guess is we won't see a lot fail, in which case it's more the technology sector that I think could have a rollover, and some of the other ones where you have these valuations on these stocks that are still very lofty. They're not pricing in a recession. And if we get in a recession, recessions mean that people spend less money. So they're buying less TVs, they're buying less cars, all these things, and therefore earnings start to collapse down. And if we drop, let's say we drop 20% on earnings across the board, the stock market probably comes in 30 to 40% on that based on the valuations now. So I think that's the bigger risk case for me, is that I think if it's a bank collapse, Bitcoin does really, really well. If it's an overall economic slowdown, then does that get caught up in the kind of the risk trade?
Yeah, I agree. The banks going, it's funny because, I shouldn't say funny, but, the banks go down and you start to see Bitcoin soar, and I'm just watching it go, and I'm just like, just wiping a tear from my eye. Look at her go. Yeah. This is what she's here for.
That's right.
Yeah, I think, if everything goes down, like, it's hard for me to separate from the thought of, like you said, earnings are down, people are spending less money, the economy is not doing well. Why would people invest in a risk on asset? Or they're kind of just using that money to survive more than invest in that's kind of how my brain works anyway.
And there's also, people have to remember that there's also a lot of cross pollination, meaning that if you have a stock portfolio and you're using margin, if that drops 20% and you get a margin call, well, a lot of people don't like to take the losses. So what do? They sell somewhere else. They may take a little money out of their crypto account and get it over into their stock account. So you can kind of see it bleeding over into other assets in that way, and which is why a lot of these assets sell off together.
Yeah. And, you just mentioned FRC. And one of our community members, Crypto Pollo, or Bitcoin Chicken, as I like to call him, he says, "Can you ask Gareth if he thinks we see?" Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Can you ask Gareth if he thinks bank stocks like FRC are like catching falling knives, or at value?
Yeah, so it's definitely catching something. And listen, I'm famous for catching falling knives. I love catching falling knives because that means the general principle of technical trading is that if something falls hard and fast, it's going to bounce hard and fast, right?
Hmm.
So the idea is what I love to use is the analogy of if you drop a ball from a 10-story building, the bounce is massive. If you drop it from a foot off the ground, it barely bounces. So I like things that are falling knives. However, there's a difference between a falling knife and a potential catastrophic, Federal Reserve government takes over a bank and it basically goes to zero. So
Hmm.
so for me, I got caught in SBNY. I had a very small position, 1% of my portfolio. I said, you know what, let me gamble here, let me roll the dice. Within a day, it was frozen. That's done, right? Maybe I'll get pennies on the dollar out of it. That was a lesson that I learned the hard way. So for me, I won't buy these anymore just of that risk. They might turn out to be amazing returns based on if they do survive. But for me, what I would suggest doing is play an ETF. Like there's the KBE, there's the KRE. Those are both bank ETFs. And what you do by doing that is you spread the risk amongst all of the banks, right? So you might not make 100, 200, 300%, but also you're not going to lose 100%. And again, you can still make 50% very easily on those. So that would be my recommendation is like if you're going to dabble in it, play it on the safer side with an ETF so you don't have specific bank risk.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Crypto Pollo. There you go. I don't think it gets much better than that. But I have another question here from Bullish on Parade, and he says, if the Fed enters QE, could we see a surge in all assets? If this happens, how long do you think it could maintain?
Yeah, so I mean, QE is even one step further than interest rate cuts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So interest basically the cycle goes, Fed pauses, that's the first thing. Then if the things get really bad, they start cutting rates. If cutting rates doesn't work and we get down towards zero, they start introducing quantitative easing again. Based on what the Fed says, and again, the Fed learned this lesson from Paul Volcker back in the 70s and 80s, where he started to cut rates too fast and then inflation roared back. And so Jerome Powell has been so specific on this, saying that, hey, we are not going to make that mistake. So right now, unless we get a catastrophic collapse in like an overall economic situation, it's unlikely that he'll cut or do QE anytime soon. Having said that, again, this is where it gets tricky, right? Because if we get in a situation where they have to do quantitative easing, I would be so scared about how bad the economy looks at that point with inflation still elevated. Because remember, if they start quantitative easing, and I know everyone wants them to print money again because that was the good old days, but if inflation's 5 or 6%, whatever it is, and they start printing again, we're talking about like 20% inflation a year, which again, all of our bills would be going up 20%. I don't think any of us want to see that. So let's really hope that doesn't happen in the scheme of things, at least for quite a while, until inflation really comes down substantially.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is kind of changing gears a little bit, but I did just want to get this question asked. This is from Danny DeVito, and he asked, so we know you're a trader. I'm a trader as well. I am not. I don't try to sit up here and act like I'm some kind of tech expert. I know a lot, but I'm not going to act like I could make my own blockchain or anything like that. But I'm sure you've heard the threats of against Bitcoin, right? Due to quantum computing.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an actual risk, or because I think, do you have an opinion on that at all?
Yeah, I to be honest, I don't know enough about it internally, I would say. So I don't know if I could make a judgment on it. But for the most part, I like to think that Bitcoin can withstand all of these things. I hope that the blockchain aspect of it really holds true. And again, that's the big question. Again, I wish I knew more about it. There's going to be technologies. Like the question is, does AI create any issues? Can AI be utilized to do nefarious things with crypto? And this is all new stuff, right? This is the crazy thing about it is we're entering this new phase in the world in technology where AI is going to be a threat. It's going to be a great thing for us. It's going to help us be more productive, but people can use it in a really bad way. Think about Terminator, the movie's Terminator, right? So
Yeah.
anyways, I'll reserve full judgment on it for now, but yeah, just be aware there's always a possibility.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. I think like again, I'm not an expert on this either, but I think like the only actual quantum computer is in like it has to be stored at absolute zero, and it's like there's only one actual quantum computer. I think people are a little over worried about that, but it's likely to become a problem, just like AI may become a problem later down the road. But like you said, by the time it's able to affect Bitcoin, it might be more dangerous in other places anyway.
Yeah, there might be other issues out there.
Yeah, right. So we do have another question here from Shrimpy Scapegoat, and he asks, when do you think Bitcoin will stop being treated as a risk asset, if ever? And do you think it'll ever start being treated as kind of a safe haven asset, which I know obviously a lot of people like to treat it as digital gold. Do you think there's a point where people actually see Bitcoin as something like gold?
Yeah, so the fact is we're already seeing that happen within small periods, right? For instance, with the banking crisis, you've seen money flow in, Bitcoin's performed amazingly well. I look at it as making that switch once we really get clarity with regulation, right? So once there's transparency, once we know the rules that these cryptos have to play by, I think that's where you can actually see that full switch. Interestingly enough, once that happens, you'll probably get a bull run. But then keep in mind, it may start performing more like gold, which is not as volatile. And so it could become more boring, which for a lot of us, that may not be as fun. But in essence, that's really the long-term way it should go.
Yeah. That's that's when I get my parents in. Come on, buy it. It's safe. It's just like gold. But it is funny. You know, I actually saw somebody on TikTok talking about this today, and they were saying they were talking about how everyone treats like I forget what it is. I forget exactly what they were talking about, but they were basically saying like, you know, everyone hates on Bitcoin. It's too volatile. It's too volatile. And then you have all these bank stocks like absolutely nuking 86%, and it's like where is the criticism there? It's like everybody hates on Bitcoin, and then you know you get some volatility in some other assets, and nobody says anything.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there's these periods where everything can be this volatile, and you're right. It's no more volatile than the bank stocks. In fact, it's a lot less volatile than the bank stocks.
Absolutely. So this one's interesting. I'm actually curious about this one. Nomad Dad asks, so we know you obviously invest in crypto, but do you ever invest in Bitcoin pairs? So like altcoin to Bitcoin pairs, or are you just kind of USDT pairs or USD pairs?
Yeah, I mostly do it in terms of US dollars or USDT at this point, just because I don't. With my focus on mostly on stocks still and commodities, I don't have enough patience or time to really look at that. But honestly, I think as the sector matures, as crypto matures, that's going to be something you do. Just like people trade, you know, US dollar versus yen or US dollar versus the euro. And I do think that will be a future area for intriguing kind of disparities that you can play off of. But I don't personally at this point do that.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I usually invest in like for long-term investments. It's usually USD pairs. Now, so this one's good. So kind of speaking on the banks going under and it being really good for Bitcoin. Do you just in general how do you see this whole bank thing playing out? Do you think like we've kind of felt the pain, maybe one more goes down, or do you think this is like the first couple dominoes of a huge collapse of all the banks?
Yeah, so I think that, you know, when we look at what the Federal Reserve did, I mean, this number one, this is a culprit of what they've done. So number one, we have to go back to where they were printing money, and they continued to print money even when there wasn't a reason to, right? So when COVID, when we were in that March of 2020 and the stock market was collapsing 30%, 40%, whatever it dropped there was a reason to come out and do some, extreme measures. But within a few months, things had calmed down, and they still printed for a long time on after that. And again, they told us that inflation was transitory. We know that obviously, was a lie. Well, it wasn't a lie, but they obviously were wrong on that. And so what did they do? They reacted and said, oh boy, now we got to play catch up. So let's jack rates up really, really quickly. And that's what they did. And the problem with that then is that it creates a domino effect, right? And this is, to me, the banking stocks are the first domino to fall of something that's going to be much, much bigger. So I do think that this is just the first situation. I think that ultimately we're going to see losses on these banks' balance sheets that are astronomical. Right now, the Fed doesn't make them mark to market, so it doesn't affect them as much. But you'll see this trickle through the economy, right? And we're already seeing that with, like, everyone's saying, oh, jobs are still so good. Yeah, but you can't deny that every day you're hearing about another Fortune 500 company laying off 10,000 people or 9,000 people, right? So eventually that's going to trickle down to Main Street and the smaller businesses, which actually employ a lot more people, and that'll come through. So there's a chain reaction that has started here. I don't really think there's a way for them to stop it at this point unless they were to go back to money printing. But I think we as investors have to be ready for this, and it's not going to be an easy road. In fact, I think we could be in for a prolonged recession. Because again, if we think about the markets and the economy, we have not been in an economy where we have been able to get ourselves out of a recession on our own. It's always been the Fed because inflation's been low enough, so they've always come out and printed. We don't have that anymore. So the Fed can't come to the rescue unless things get so bad that, again, we talked about this earlier, we don't want it to get that bad. So my guess is we're going to be in this like 2 to 3 year recession that's going to just drag on. It's not going to be like a depression, but it's going to be just a long, drawn-out recession. Unemployment probably gets to 5, 6, 7%. Not enough for the Fed to really print money, maybe lower rates just a little bit. But as long as inflation stays high, they're really tied. They really can't do a whole lot. And I think that's going to be a really troublesome situation for us for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, it does seem more and more as time goes on that there are very, very interesting times headed our way. And, just speaking of the economy, not talking about any of the other crazy things going on in the world right now. So, but yeah, super great insight there. Now, I actually want to ask a question because one time, I think it was the last time we had you on, or it might have been the, one of the times that we had you on, you had mentioned something, and I'm not going to lie, I think about it a lot, and I'm always like, I don't know if I misunderstood him, but you said that you didn't think, I think you said that you didn't think that we would see new all-time highs for the stock market for a long, long time. I think you said like 10 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point to bring up because this is what the issue is that when you look at how much money was pushed into the system, right? The Fed balance sheet speaks for itself when you look at the curve and how much money was printed, $9-10 trillion. But essentially, they're now at this point where they are tied from really printing money because of inflation being so high. And what that's going to do is, like we talked about, it's going to be a prolonged recession, maybe at least 2 to 3 years. It could be longer. And the problem is there's a lot of precedence for this in the charts, which we'll show in a while, but you have these periods where you unwind the crazy money in the markets. And essentially you've seen markets go into these periods where it's actually been 15 years or 10 years between new all-time highs. Now, for a lot of us that have gotten in the last 5 years, since the last Bitcoin cycle or so, we're not used to that. We're used to, like, basically since 2009 lows, it was new all-time high, pull back, new all-time high, pull back, new all-time high, new all-time high, etc. But let's take a look at some of these charts because I think this puts it in perspective. This is the FRC chart, which again probably won't see new all-time highs for 10 or 15 years as well, though. But let's just take a look at the Nasdaq. I mean, if we just go back, and most of your viewers, I'm sure, were not trading when we were back in the 2000 period, right? Mm-hmm. So bear with me as I go to the Nasdaq itself here. Let me just bring that up, Nasdaq Composite. All right, so this is the chart of the Nasdaq, and this is your run in the late 90s, right? So this is the .com run. Now, what's amazing when you look at that run compared to this run, this is like, holy cow, this looks like a mini-me, right? This is just a very tiny little move. But in reality, you put your high in March of 2000. You did not look at if I go along the lines here was you double topped and you pulled back and you didn't break out till 2016. That was 16 years where you did not make a new high. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, if we go to some other charts, if you look at like the EWZ, which is the Brazilian stock market, right? Here you have the big run in 2003 to 2007. Look at this market. You're talking about from 2007, it has not made a new high. That's now 16 years, interestingly enough. So there's a lot of times where you're going to see this, and we have to be realistic that this is not unusual when you have these mega blow off tops in markets. And so I do think it's important for investors to recognize that there's a precedence when you have these monster bull markets, which are, especially in this case, Fed induced, Fed kind of generated, that if they truly are allowed to unwind, it could be a decade before we see new all-time highs. And again, one thing I always like to say, Frankie, is that a lot of people are like, oh, this stinks, this is horrible. No, this is the best trading environment. Bear markets, longer term markets like this, where you have big gyrations, that's the best environment for us to get good trading opportunities. And so don't fret about it. It honestly, I'll make more money in this period than I did in the bull market of 2009 to 2021.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I actually prefer trading bear markets. I always tell my community, we've been shorting for so long at this point in this current bear market that I have to invert my charts to find bullish setups. It's crazy. You get so used to looking for those shorts. But yeah, I would absolutely agree. And you would assume that, if we wind up seeing that no all-time highs for the stock market for the next 10 years, you're kind of expecting Bitcoin to follow suit?
No, I actually, believe it or not, I'm actually in the camp that once Bitcoin does decouple from risk assets and becomes more of a stability gold, then I actually think the elevated inflation that I expect, and I expect inflation to kind of stick around 3.5% for many, many years to come, I actually think that becomes a great thing for Bitcoin. And also the fact that if we are in a prolonged recession, there's going to be a lot of money that's in stocks right now that's going to say, hey, listen, we see no end in sight. Why are we going to be in stocks when their earnings are going to be struggling? And let's go find an asset that now hopefully has transparency due to regulation. And I actually think Bitcoin will be the standout along with gold. I'm expecting gold to make a 2 to 3x run over the next few years. And I think after we get through this period, this bear market, and we get regulation, I actually do think Bitcoin really outperforms.
I love it. Yeah, that's, that would be a time. That would be a time to be alive for sure. Now, you did talk about balance sheets before. And speaking of balance sheets, we have a question from Blue. And he asks, with the Fed's balance sheet increasing recently, do you think the crypto and stock markets will rally more in the short term? I know we kind of covered that in the beginning, but I guess just some quick thoughts on that one.
Yeah, so the balance sheet has increased a little bit. A lot of it's just based on these banks that are borrowing money to kind of shore up themselves. So they're not really lending it out. So the difference is, right, is that usually we're used to the balance sheet going up because the Fed is buying lots of bonds and pumping a lot of money into the system. It's getting lent out. In this case, it's a little different. So the banks are taking money in to make sure that they are shored up in case they get a bank run and people take their money out. So it's a little different than the QE that we've been seeing. Nonetheless, it still is worrisome. But yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I would expect them, once the banking crisis passes, to go back to lowering that balance sheet back down.
Love it. So I'm going to change gears slightly here. And before we go back to just a couple more questions, do you have anything interesting you're looking on the charts on a stock, an altcoin? And before we go into that, I actually have a really quick question. This is for me. And now I know you said that you think Bitcoin will kind of be the standout asset with gold if the stock market kind of in that period where the stock market's not making new all-time highs. Is it just Bitcoin that you see standing out, or do you see any alts, or do you think it's just Bitcoin, the digital gold, is that standout assets, and then the altcoins are just going to continue to bleed out?
Yeah, so for me right now, at least with my investments, if I'm looking at that bigger picture, it's focused mostly on Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I think really this recent crisis shows us that. So yeah, you've had bounces in Polygon, you've had bounces in Avalanche and Solana, et cetera, but you're not seeing the same sort of massive moves like you are in Bitcoin and Ethereum. So those are the ones that I trust. I think that, if you look in the last bull market in 2017, at what were in the top 10 of digital assets, of crypto assets, a lot of those are no longer in those top 10s either. In fact, a lot of them have really fallen back. So I think you can safely, or as safely as crypto can be, invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum. But I'm staying away on the longer term from the other cryptos, just because, again, I don't know which one's going to be the leader. Is this one going to survive? Is it going to thrive? Is it going to be knocked down the list down the line, versus Ethereum and Bitcoin are pretty much as close to sure bets as you can probably make.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part there. I mean, I have been DCAing in, for a little bit now, and but it's real heavy ETH BTC, with the exception of very few higher cap alts. But just to kind of hammer home the point of the importance of leaning Bitcoin and ETH heavy, Solana was one of those altcoins I was getting into right before it basically went to zero. So yeah, I basically agree with you for the most part. I love my altcoins. Obviously, I love trading the altcoins, and I will buy them again. But still a little bit. I do think that some altcoins could continue to bleed here. I'm not ready to kind of go full DCA mode into the altcoins.
And I think one of the keys is within an investment portfolio, you have like your safety coins within crypto, which is like the Ethereums and the Bitcoins. And then there's nothing wrong with putting a tiny amount of money in some speculative altcoins, right? If you just want to give it a shot, you just have to go in and say, okay, well, I know this is higher risk, and with higher risk, you take down the amount of money you're investing, right? So again, if it were to go bust, it's like, okay, well, I lost 1% of my portfolio. It's not the end of the world. So I think that's always, and I do that with stocks on occasion, right? I'll say, all right, well, I'll just, this could be a 10x or it could go to zero. So I'm hoping to make 10x, but if it goes to zero, I lose 100%. As long as you do it with limited capital and you understand the risks. And I think that's the big thing is I sometimes get the sense that crypto investors, they sometimes don't get the risks of some of these coins, and then they put their whole account in it, and then they wonder why they lost 50%. You have to remember, we're all in charge of our own money. We have to take responsibility, which means we have to do our research, right? We have to know what the risks are. What's the volatility of this? Is there a risk based on, regulation or lack thereof? And all of that. FTX is a great example, right? I mean, if you had all your money in FTX, you're in a whole lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of speaking of doing your due diligence, doing your own research, Tony D actually asked, if someone does, I mean, obviously you did just say you're super heavy Bitcoin and ETH, but if someone presents you with a project, say I came up to you and said, hey, Polygon's a great project, I think you should buy some. Do you kind of like, what is your process at looking at a project? Is it you look at the charts and then you kind of just go to the website, read the white paper? I know a lot of people like to read the white papers. Do you kind of have a process of vetting a project? Is it market cap based?
Yeah, so this is the issue is, number one, I'm a technical trader, right? So I the chart is always number one. Having said that, I haven't gotten to that point yet where I've even read a white paper or anything like that. So that's kind of where I am. Where the alts, I do trade them, right? I've been long Solana a few times. I've been short Solana a few times. I've been long Polygon, etc., and short as well. But again, for me, it's more quicker trades. I'm just not ready to take that next leap yet into saying, okay, I'm going to actually tuck some of this away for a longer term investment where I would actually need to do that internal research and really get into what it is. And honestly, I got to be honest, like, being a stock trader and stuff, a lot of this I don't fully understand yet. I need like someone that knows their stuff to really sit me down and explain it.
Yeah, and listen, I think it's important to kind of point that out because, I'm a very technical trader as well, and like you, the chart is the number one thing I look at. Before, when I was first getting into crypto, everybody's very heavy on the tech. It's really exciting technology. I think a lot of people out there like to pretend that they're like a tech expert, but they're really just repeating what other people say. It's really complicated technology.
It is.
But, like you said, we're traders. Really all we need is that volatility on the charts to make some money. So, yeah, I love that. I kind of, I don't really read white papers very often either. I have the blessing of just always being surrounded by crypto people. So I kind of get like my daily dose of, we have people at the office that are, super experts in the tech. And, I have the luxury of just asking them, like,
that's awesome.
What is a layer 0? Please explain this to me like I'm 3. But yeah, for the most part, I'm like, just show me a chart. I don't care about a ZK rollup. Like, but yeah, back to the other question. Do you have anything, as we kind of wrap up here, do you have any charts that are looking interesting to you, something that might look primed for, a big move in either direction?
Yeah, so for me, the what I have right now out there is I have a small short on Ethereum and a small short on Bitcoin up in this range. They're what I call starter positions. And so essentially I think both of Ethereum and Bitcoin could make that one more move up Bitcoin to that 30,000-ish level where I'll add again, and then I keep my stop if we stay above that 30,000, 30,500 level. I'll kind of exit out and stop myself out at that point. So my risk is probably $2,000-3,000, which isn't a whole lot, about 10%. Based on the current price of Bitcoin. Same thing with Ethereum. Aside from that, like I've been really looking for trades. And like if we go to, here's Matic, right? Polygon. And like there's nothing here. Like here's your support, here's your resistance. Like there's really nothing there. If we go to Solana, let's take a look at Solana. And I do scan these on a daily basis just to see, but I really don't see much here. One thing I'm seeing on Solana, this is just actually popping up as I'm viewing this. Take a look at that trend line. That's kind of a cool trend line there. Yeah. You have a down sloping pivot to pivot, and actually that's the high right there. So that gives you a little resistance. I mean, if you peeked through that, you might go back to the highs here. But again, look at the high here, and then the lows right here. So again, there's not a whole lot in the alts that looks good right now. Yeah. I wish there was, because I definitely am all about if there's a great opportunity. But I think one of the things that a trader like us, you and I, we have to go with our discipline. And, as much as we might want to do a trade, if there's not a trade there, we can't take it. People that trade just because they want to trade, they don't end up in this game very long, right? They ultimately lose their money. So discipline is so important when it comes to trades. If there's a trade, take it, but it should jump off the page at you. It shouldn't be like, oh, I really have to like search and force it. And again, I just want to reiterate that because that's such an important thing for all investors to remember. It's fun to trade, but you'll lose if the trade isn't really there.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I think one of the biggest things that changed, my trading game for forever was, at whatever point I decided to actually stick to a plan. I don't see a trade. I got my key level. I have my confirmations I'm looking for, and I'm sitting on my hands. As soon as I started sitting on my hands and waiting for price to come into my trap, that's really what changed the game for me. But speaking of the importance of that kind of stuff, this question just came in. It's actually eerie, but I think this was from Rob. Where is this? This is from... Oh, this is a poll on Twitter, but it says rank these 3 things in order of importance. And this is, I think, going to be big. Risk management, technical analysis, and psychology/emotion.
Wow. So for me anyways, risk management is probably number 1, followed by controlling which by the way goes into risk management since it's going to keep you in a line, but emotion and psychology, and then technical analysis is kind of like the third one there, because you could have the best technicals in the world. If you don't follow the discipline of it, it really doesn't matter, frankly. And I always say this too, is that I can teach anyone the charts, right? What's a topping tail? What's a bottoming tail? How to draw a trend line. What I can't teach you is discipline. That's from inside each and every one of us, and kind of getting your mind in focus and being able to be disciplined, right? So it's that part that is the hardest part for most traders to master. Heck, it's been the hardest part for me. It's something that I still struggle with, but you have to work at it. And over time, you will get better. What I find is that my mental side becomes more disciplined as I find out that the charts truly do work a high probability, because then you start to just trust the charts. When you've done a million trades in your life and you followed the charts, it's like, okay, well, I might be scared here, but hey, the charts are right 80% or 70% of the time. So just go with it. Just believe in that. You know where your exit is. You know how to exit the trade. If it doesn't work, just go with it.
Yeah, that was another thing for me too, was, I would see the setups, I would mark them out, they would play out, but anytime I was in a trade, I would have a hard time just like, okay, just work, just please trust the chart. It's really hard to do. But recently I said the same thing on my live stream, saying, technical analysis is almost very important, but almost the least important part that makes a successful trader. You could teach yourself the charts. You could always study the charts more, but really getting the discipline and the emotion and the psychology is really that. You could have someone who is the best analyst in the world. If they can't control their emotions, they're not going to be able to really be a profitable trader. So I love that you said that. But okay, so this is going to be probably the last question, and this one comes from Tyler Durden, one of our wonderful mods, and he says, Frank has said a few times that oh, it just moved. Frank has said a few times that Forex respects TA more than crypto assets do. Does Gareth trade Forex? And if he does he agree with that statement? I do just want to tweak that slightly. I've actually never traded Forex, but I've been told many, many times, like people like, why are you trading crypto, bro? Like, if you could trade crypto, just go to Forex. It respects TA way better. You'll have way more fun. Do you think is there any legitimacy to that, or is that just nonsense?
Well, so there's a little bit of legitimacy to that, and that would go for stocks and commodities as well. And the key is to recognize that in the crypto markets, you still have a majority of investors that are honestly kind of in the world of investing that are newbies, right? Mm-hmm. And so they've only traded for a year, 2 years. I would say a majority of investors in crypto are 1 to 2 years into this game. And what comes with that is more emotion. And so when you see a fall on something, there's a higher rate that it could pierce the support level because everyone's panicking because it's so much more emotional. I don't trade Forex myself, but I trade stocks and commodities, and I'll trade off of the dollar. I'll trade gold and stuff based on that. But what I do know is that when you're dealing with assets like a stock like Apple, right? So most of the money that's trading Apple is institutional. And so they're not going to be whipped as much via emotion versus a cryptocurrency like a Solana. And so what that means is that the bigger assets that have bigger participants in them, they're going to follow the technicals slightly better than the crypto ones. Now, there's the great thing about it is once you know that, what do? Well, when I'm looking at a technical level on Bitcoin, what I do is I put my buy below the technical support. Right? Because knowing that people are going to panic, it'll probably pierce. I get a better fill, and then it finally does react to the technical. So it's almost like a delayed reaction with a pierce versus not reacting at all.
I love it. You know, people always say, when you're looking at the chart, really all it's measuring is human emotion, and that's kind of described perfectly. Right. You know, the newbies are going to react way more emotionally, making it much more violent in its moves. Well, Gareth, thank you so much for coming on, man. We feel blessed as a community to be able to get you on, give us your insight. And yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank God we finally got some movement in the market. I think the big thing is, we did have one more question, but I know we kind of covered it in the beginning, so I didn't want to ask it again. But, the big thing was people want to know what you think about the bottom being in. And, so right now we're looking at that $30,500 level. If we could get on top of there and hold it, you're thinking there's a good chance the bottom's in.
Yes, correct. And again, that's why this level, this 28.5 to like 30,500 is so important. I mean, this to me, I'm watching like a hawk to see how we react here because it to me, it will determine whether that low is in or not for this bear cycle.
Love it. Well, there you go, Candle Mafia. Thank you so much for coming on, Gareth. I will give you the stage for however long you need. Let everybody know where they could find you, what you got going on, and yeah, shamelessly promote yourself, please.
No, I appreciate that. So find me on Twitter at Gareth Soloway. Super simple. I post up there a couple times a day. I've actually done a lot of YouTube type stuff these days, so find me on YouTube. As always, guys, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, watch out for fakes. There are so many out there. I'm sure Frankie has to deal with that as well. It's a horrible thing, but again, just be careful. Always remember, I don't private message anyone, so be very suspect if you do get private messages. Lastly, find me at verifiedinvestingcrypto.com. I put out all my crypto trades there, do a daily video for members, and that's basically it. Thank you so much, Frankie.
I love it. Thank you so much, Gareth, for coming on. And I know the Candle Mafia is jumping for joy right now. They've been waiting for this. So thank you so much. And yeah, we will hopefully have you on very, very, very soon. And
I look forward to it. Thank you, buddy.
Of course. We'll see you soon, Gareth. Baby, look at that, guys. Gareth Soloway. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm not going to lie. We love all our guests, and we truly do. But I'm not going to lie. I would be lying if I said I didn't get a little extra excited to hear what Gareth had to say. So, yeah, big thank you to Gareth for coming on. We really do appreciate it. And Candle Mafia, you guys wanted school. You guys wanted that free class. and our substitute just happened to be Gareth Soloway. So they don't call him Gareth the God Soloway for nothing. I call him Gareth the Goat Soloway. But guys, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, guys, be careful of the scammers. He is 100% correct. They are absolutely prolific. And with that being said, just watch out for my scammers as well, because they are out there. And every time you get one out or get rid of one, 50 more pop up. But guys, smash that like button if you liked hearing what Gareth had to say. We got 1,100 people in here, guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get, you guys get a spin on the wheel of pain and pleasure, where you will all have multiple chances to win some giveaways. And like I said, we're going to add something to that wheel, guys. It's going to be super, super fun. But with all that being said, guys, we do have some stuff to look at on the charts here. Let me just go ahead and pull it up so we can go ahead. And guys, can you bear with me for a second? Anybody notice that my sign was sideways? Crooked, sideways and crooked are different. This is crooked, right? Like it's leaning that way. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Let me try to fix this real quick. It's driving me nuts. Never mind. I'm not going to touch it. It's straight on the camera, so I'm not going to touch it. We're going to have to deal with the slightly crooked Frankie Candles logo. It's going to drive me nuts. Hopefully, it doesn't drive you guys nuts. But let's go ahead and jump right into the charts. All right, let's see. Let's see. Hey, Frank, did you get that one? Tyler Coino sent you. Are you talking about a scammer, D Petty? Are you talking about do you guys have scammers? You guys probably have scammers too, if I'm being honest. It's almost like when you get that first scammer, it's almost like a badge of honor. It's like, hey, I did it. I think Tony D's got scammers. Guys, be careful out there. Let's see. Sign is dumping. Yeah, shout out to Skip Factor. But guys, let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at these charts. Yeah, not really that interesting stuff has happened since yesterday, but let's go ahead and turn off that TA and start off on the higher time frames as shout out to Hannah King. Thank you for the super chats. He says, I'm super busy these days, but I knew I couldn't miss this live. Always great to hear what Gareth has to say. Shout out to Hannah King. I do appreciate that super chat, and thank you for being here and catching the live stream. It wouldn't be the same without you, Hannah. Let's go. And yeah, also, by the way, guys, before I jump in, this is going to take 2 seconds. Before I jump into this, I did just find out not how expensive, but people who are gifting memberships. I think Crypto Gideon, I did see you gift some memberships. Thank you so much, bro. I did not realize that like when someone gifts like 10 memberships, it's like not a small amount of money. So I just want to say a little bit of an extra thank you to everybody who has gifted memberships. The memberships themselves are very cheap, very affordable. I think it's like between $3 and $7 a month. But when someone gets, $27 memberships, that's a lot of money. And I know Crypto Billy has gifted a ton. So Crypto Billy, as always, shout out to you, bro. I don't think you're in here today, but thank you so much. And thank you to the community, anyone who's gifted memberships, anyone who's super chatted. It really does make a difference, and it helps us be able to come here every single day and give you guys this content. So just thank you so much. I did not really understand how expensive it could be to give away 20 memberships. So big shout out to the CandleMafia. But let's go ahead. We have the best community. Kryptonic, absolutely, bro. I love how chemistry, bro, trades the low time frames. Let's go. Shout out to Kem, bro. He says, we may be starting to break out of a little wedge on the 7-minute for Bitcoin. But yeah, maybe we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Can we see it on the 5-day? Ooh, baby. I see what you're talking about, Kem, bro. I see it, bro. I see you. There it is. Little breakout of this little guy. I see what you're looking at, brother. But guys, let's go ahead and jump right in here. Starting off on the weekly time frame, we're actually going to come on over to the Bitstamp chart. Go ahead and turn off that TA and take a look here. Right, money flow on the weekly is still coming up, is still looking good, guys. Now, I do want to preface this whole thing with the fact that I am still longer-term bullish, right? I was long-term bullish all throughout this big pump. And then we lost our bullish sentiment a tiny bit on this little dump here because we broke some key levels. But because we snapped up so quickly, I regained my bullish sentiment. We got that second leg up. And I will say, even if we get a pullback, I am still leaning bullish. And one of those major things that I'm looking at is the money flow on the weekly time frame. If that crosses into the green, oh, baby, that's going to be bullish. But, moving on here, I don't want to spend too much time on the higher time frames. 6-day still has not turned around as we have not printed another candle. We still have another 2-day and 2 hours to see this start to roll back around. If we are able to get this to curve back up, that would be a pretty good sign, because this is the only daily time frame that has ugly money flow like this. Every other time frame, like the weekly, is coming up. Your 6-day or your 5-day has crossed into the green. This is what we want to see on the weekly, and then hopefully that 6-day, the fact that we've crossed over into the green on the 5-day makes me think that we could we could potentially, is what I was looking for, see that leak into the 6-day and get a little bit more of a rounded money flow on the 6-day. Your 4-day is still in the green. Now, one thing I will note here is we are making a little bit of a lower high on the money flow. So once this VWAP crosses below that zero line, gives us a red dot, we may see that money flow come out, but if it doesn't cross into the red, that would still technically be decent. So money flow is in the green, so it's overall good, but you just want to realize that you have the VWAP coming down and you are making a lower high. Let me just shout out to Hannah King again for the super chat. She said, should I be honored? I have scanners pretending to be me in your Discord. Hannah, I mean, we got to shut them down. I don't want to celebrate scammers, but I will say, hey, I don't know. There's something, if someone wants to impersonate you, you must be somebody, right? I think Mrs. Candles has a scammer. I'm not going to lie. But shout out to Hannah King. Thank you so much for the super chats and all the continued support. We got Enzo Mining in the chat. Enzo, what did you see us doing TA on your puppies yesterday? We did some TA on some dogs yesterday. Was it the Golden Retrievers that were Enzo Minings? I don't remember who it was, but Enzo, if not, go look at the Frankie Fake Out on yesterday's stream. And then, oh my God, shout out to Brian Peterson for the gifted membership. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much. Bing bong. Just kidding. It's empty, guys. But we'll just throw a little in the air. Here we go. Bing bong. There we go. Shout out to you, bro. Thank you so much, Brian Peterson. Hannah King with a gifted membership. Let's go. Hannah King showing face tonight. And then the Izzy, shout out to you, shout out to you, bro. He said, we do it so others can benefit from the great TA and breaking down the markets in ways the majority can understand. And to that, I am forever grateful. The Izzy, I appreciate you so much for saying that, bro. I really do, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much for the kind words. And that's what keeps me coming on here every single day, because you guys let me know that I'm helping you. And Izzy also gifted some 5 Frankie Candles membership. Shout out to you, bro. I really do appreciate you. And then Bird Next Door says, what type of candles do I use? I simply just get Better Homes and Gardens, coconut and mahogany, and it's a wood wick, so it crackles. So there you go. Don't tell the candle gods that it's not lit. So there you go, bro. No, I'm just kidding. These are Heikanashi candles. I'm sure that's what you were asking. And someone asked earlier in the stream or earlier in the chat in the waiting room, why do I use Heikanashi candles? And the simple answer to that, guys, is that it's just easier to see trends. There is really no like crazy benefit other than it's just cleaner, right? Like this is just kind of like, it's just the wicks are all over the place, and it's, blue candle, purple candle, blue candle, purple candle. It's kind of hard to tell what is going on. So the Heikanashi candles do take an average, and you can see on the regular candles here, it's blue, 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 but then you get a purple, blue, blue, purple, blue, purple. It's kind of like iffy there. Whereas on the Heikanashis, when you get that average of the candles, you can just see like this is a strong uptrend. Just much easier to see trends. Other than that, there's really no benefit. I do switch back and forth often, right? Because these do take an average, right? These are not the exact price. So you can see right now this is $28,022, and then it's really at $28,282 is the actual exact price, at least on the 4-day here. Shout out to Hannah King, said, gotta get back to work. See you later, Frankie. I'm watching for lifetime payment to join your premium Discord. Let's go. Shout out to Hannah King. Let's go. Shout out to Hannah. Have fun at work, and thank you for being here and stopping by and hanging out with us. All right, and the Izzy dropping some memberships. JJ Holmes dropping a membership. Let's go. Shout out to JJ Holmes. Thank you so much for that. Now, let's go ahead and jump right back into the charts, guys. The 4-day, again, making a lower high on your money flow with the VWAP coming down could potentially be somewhat of a bearish sign. We also want to realize, guys, that we do also have these potential bearish divergences forming where you have your higher high on your price with your lower highs on your momentum waves, but this is not even printing yet, and it's almost invalidated. I almost said inconfirmed. It's almost invalidated here, so it's not even printing, but it is something you do want to keep an eye on because, bearish divergences on these time frames can be very powerful, so you just want to realize not impossible to cool off here, guys. Not impossible, especially if that red dot starts to print on your 4-day. But coming back on into the, let's turn off that TA and working our way down the time frames here. Taking a look at your 3-day. Money flow is coming up, looking very, very, very healthy here with the VWAP coming down, but your money flow still does look healthy. Again, the money flow on these higher time frames, specifically the 5-day, is really making me think that this pump could continue potentially up to that $30,000, $31,000, and even that $35,000 to $40,000 level that Gareth was just talking about. And then maybe, just maybe, guys, we can make it up to that local macro golden pocket between about 48 and 50K. But continuing on here, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but yeah, 3-day money flow coming up. Even though your VWAP is cooling off, again, that would indicate some kind of a cool off, not necessarily a big dump. Money flow coming up makes me think the trend can continue. And again, guys, this is just a strong uptrend, right? Especially on the 12 hour. You guys will know we were looking at this on a live stream, and I was like, guys, look at all these green candles. We're probably due for some red candles, right? And it was, I think, like a candle away, we started to get some red candles, but now we get another green one, right? Like, this is definitely a very strong uptrend. We're holding support. Every time we get a dump, we eat it back up and make a higher high. So we're definitely in a somewhat of a bullish environment right now. But coming down to your daily here, this is something we want to keep an eye on, guys. This happened last night. Our bearish divergence did confirm on regular candles here. You can see right here from these highs, right? You have higher highs on your price with your lower highs on your momentum waves, giving you that bearish divergence. But not only a bearish divergence, but guys, the money flow on Market Cypher B is continuing to come to the downside. It is looking pretty ugly, but your VWAP looks like it wants to flip to the upside. So all in all, bearish divergence on the daily with money flow coming out. We have to keep an eye on this. Because this potentially could mark some kind of a pullback here. But again, we're in a strong bullish trend. So, not really betting the farm on this, but it is something we have to keep an eye on because sometimes when you have these bear divs with money flow also coming out at the same time, it could be a top signal, a decent top signal to come down. But other than that, guys, this is really one of the only major things that would be calling for downside. We did confirm that bear div on the daily, on regular candles, and it is now printing on the Heikin-Ashi candles. Money flow is looking ugly on both types of candles, right? But come on. All right, there we go. All right, so let's go ahead and continue working our way down the time frames here before we take a look at those key levels. And then here we go, right? 16-hour VWAP is flipping right to the upside, right? Not a VWAP flip, but it is coming up aggressively, looking for that green dot. 12-hour also looking for that green dot. Money flow curving back to the upside. That doesn't look too bad to me. Your green dot did already print on your 10-hour here. I would be careful. I would be careful of a potential bearish divergence here if you wind up coming up. Let me just go ahead and pop up a blank chart here real quick. Whoops. There we go. Yeah. What was it? The 10-hour? Yeah, I would just be a little bit cautious, guys. I would just be a little bit cautious of a potential. I don't really know if you're going to get this. Well, I guess we already have technically made a higher high here, but, not the strongest div. But if we do come up a little bit more, you could get that higher high, and you might set up for a nice bearish divergence on these higher hourly time frames. Just something I'm keeping a lookout for. But let's continue on. Checking out the 8-hour green dot is printing, so naturally I'm going to go to those lower time frames. I'm looking at that 24-minute money flow has crossed over into the green. Your 30-minute money flow has crossed into the red. Now, if we are able to get that money flow on the 30-minute to cross back into the green as we get that 8-hour green dot, that might be where we're able to see some more movements to the upside, which we will be taking a look at some targets momentarily. But money flow on that 8-hour, guys, this looks like healthy money flow on the 8-hour. Look at that thing. Swing. Just straight to the upside. Look at that. Just sharply to the upside. Looking pretty good. And then also coming down to your 6-hour green dot is also printing. Money flow is super, super healthy looking. Taking a look at your 4-hour. 4 hour, same thing. Money flow generally coming out, but kind of flat there locally. VWAP is rolling over here on the 4 hour as well, so that is something to keep an eye on. Your VWAP is starting to cool off. But it doesn't mean you can't get a bounce here, guys. Anything with TA, we talked about this with being overbought on the RSI, being oversold on the RSI. Same thing with the VWAP. A lot of people think that when you're oversold, you could just buy and then wait for it to go to overbought and then sell. The problem is, you a lot of times you can remain oversold or overbought for a period of time, right? So, it's kind of it's not just like a signal to go long or short. Same thing with the VWAP. Just because this VWAP is coming down doesn't mean that you can't wind up getting some support on that zero line and you can't come up higher. So obviously, a lot of times when the VWAP does, that's why I like to wait for the red dot to print once that VWAP crosses, and I like to wait for it to confirm as well to at least know that the move is likely to happen. But kind of the same thing with the VWAP. You can't just trust anything 100%. But 4 hour VWAP is cooling off. That is worth looking at. And then that 2 hour money flow is coming up. However, that red dot is looking to print very, very soon. So looking for that red dot to print, that might be where we're able to get our next, at least somewhat of a move down. I don't know if you're going to break these lows back here, but, it is likely going to be where we'll get at least a few little bit of red candles. Your 1 hour VWAP is below that zero line. Money flow is kind of just flat there. Taking a look at your 90-minute money flow is coming back up. Now, money flow does not look too bad on a lot of these time frames. I mean, your 2 hour money flow is coming back up. Your 4 hour money flow is got it flat, but your 6 hour money flow looks healthy, or your 8 hour money flow looks healthy. That 6 hour looks great. So not impossible. I will say this, guys, not impossible to get a move up, but I would expect, at least some kind of a pullback. I'm curious to see what happens on this daily close, because once we confirm this red dot, I really want to see what this VWAP does, because if this VWAP, if this starts to flip right back to the upside, that might be a very, very, very bullish sign, because right now things are kind of mixed, right? Because we have those bearish signs on the daily. For the most part, it's kind of really the bearish case with the money flow and the bear div. However, it's we do have some bullish signs as well, right? So we are getting some mixed signals. It's not completely unclear like it is sometimes. Recently, we have had a couple days where it's just like almost impossible to read the indicators. It's actually hard to do the show like that because it's just kind of like me going like, this looks bullish, but this looks bearish. This looks bullish. I can't really come to a conclusion. It's not really like that, but we are getting, some somewhat of mixed signals. But let's go ahead and take a look at some of these key levels that we could keep an eye on to give us a little bit of insight into what the heck is going on with Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and open up. I'm going to take a look at this chart here. We'll come down to the lower time frames. Now, this is kind of what we're looking at locally, guys. Let me get rid of some of these fibs just to clean things up a bit. Just get rid of this and get rid of that and get rid of this. Bada boom. Okay. So this is actually, you know what? We can. All right. So this is the short. This is the short we're in. Just in profit, just kind of hanging out, hoping for this to play out a little bit more. We did hit the first take profit down here. Just hoping to make our way back down to the value area low. And for this short, guys, just looking for the value area, right? Just trading those sideways ranges as we always do. Let me just zoom out a little bit here. Shorting the highs, longing the lows, and we caught some nice scalps in the premium Discord today. This one obviously did not hit take profit just yet, but the long played out nicely. We were long from the bottom of this blue box all the way to that value area high. That one did wind up hitting the full take profits. And then we just got short here. We longed it to the top, and now we are short from the top. So we'll have to see. We may get stopped out of this one. I did not personally take any profits on this just yet. But we did technically hit our first take profit. But, just taking a look here, guys, kind of those key levels. Should we do it? Let's do it live, guys. Screw it. We'll do it live. I think this will be helpful for people just to kind of go through all this stuff live and just kind of show you guys how how we look at stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and grab all of this TA. And, let's go here. And then I will come here. And I'm just going to drag this in here. And I'm going to turn off this folder. And we're going to start. Whoops. Boom. There we go. I'm going to start with a fresh chart. We're going with 0 indicators. And we're just going to start fresh. So I'm going to go ahead and start over here on the weekly time frame here, guys. And this is how we're going to find these key levels, right? We're going to come up to the weekly. And let's see. We do have a little bit of support here, weekly level at 22,110. I don't think we're probably not gonna come down there anytime soon. But yeah, coming down to the daily, we could probably find some more daily levels. There we go. We do have a daily level right here. And then we have another daily level here. Although it is tapped, we do have a little bit of a daily level here. So let me go ahead and pop the daily. Pop the daily. Pop the daily. This is a technical term, guys. This is called popping dailies. You know what I'm saying? Bing bong. And then we also have a little level right here. And we'll make that another daily. And then we're going to come down. I'm going to switch to Hike and Nashi's now. And then I'm going to go ahead and we're going to pull our ranges here, guys, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab those dailies and I'm going to put them in a folder. And we're going to label it daily. I'm probably going to make a video on this, guys. I'm probably going to make a video on this, but I'm just roughing through this. I'm kind of like not explaining anything. I'm kind of just doing this because I wanted a nice clean chart for the stream today. But there you go, right? So we got some nice daily levels. I'm going to go ahead and turn those off just to keep it nice and clean, right? Now we know we got those strong levels right there. Now I want to pull some volume, guys. I see right here, we have this macro range, right? With highs and lows, right? Highs up here for the most part, lows down here for the most part. I know that was kind of garbage drawing there, but you guys will see it much, much better here. I'm coming up to a higher time frame, and I'm going to pull it from here, Friday the 13th, all the way. We could pull it all the way, right? So there you go. Now we have this value area high of this macro range is coming in at about $25,000. I would say just about even, right? Close enough to even. So this is going to be your macro value area high, and then you have your POC coming in here at about 23K, right? This was a very, very, very key level that we looked at for quite some time, and then you have your value area low down here at about 20,900, and make that your value area low, right? So going to go ahead and keep that. This is an important level, right? This value area high is going to be an important level because if we do get a big pullback, it would make a lot of sense here, guys. It's going to make a lot of sense. Do women have golden pockets? Shout out to Hazard Shot. I mean, I guess probably. But anyway, yeah, if we do get a pullback here, guys, and a big rejection, this is going to be a major level of support to be watching. And let's see where those dailies wind up popping up. Well, hey, we have a daily right there, right? So that may be a nice little support pocket to look at. However, once we broke below that value area high, that may be a sign that you could come lower. It would be opening the door to lower prices. But we have this little macro range. I'm going to go ahead and grab these, and I'm going to go ahead and put this into a folder called macro range, right? I'm going to grab that fixed range profile and put it in there as well, and we're going to go ahead and turn that off, right? Now, we still have a naked chart. Man, I'm probably going to make a video about this, guys. But anyway, let's go ahead, and I do also just want to pull one more range here, and that is going to be the overall macro range all the way back here from this massive dump that we got. And then this does wind up giving you the key level of about 21.8, right? This has been a very key. Actually, CryptoFace was talking about that being a very key level when we had him on the show. POC coming in about 16.8, and then your value area low coming in at about 15.9. Now, obviously, I'm not expecting to have to use any of these lower levels anytime soon, but it is important to have these on the chart in case we do wind up getting a crazy move down. At least we know where everything is. This level probably going to be more, this 21.8 level is probably going to be more significant than a lot of these other levels. However, then one more, I want to come in a little bit more locally, and I want to pull some of these, I want to pull a little bit more of a local range. Let's go to the 1 hour and see what we got, right? We're kind of wiggling to the upside here, so not really a clear range to pull on, but I'm going to pull it, we somewhat have lows down here, and then we also have highs up here, so I'm going to pull it from here, right? And then this is kind of what we could think of as our local range, right? And you can always play around with these, pull it out a little bit more, see how it, see what it does, but really just looking at, these kind of lows and then these kind of highs. And yeah, this does look like, this kind of looks like bullish consolidation to me, if I had to guess. But these are basically going to be the local levels and kind of the local range that I'm looking at for trades, and kind of has been that local level that we were looking for trades at in the premium Discord today. Where we were looking to catch this long and then this short down. And then, yeah, so resistance, most important local resistance to the upside here, guys, is probably going to be probably going to be right here, which is the value area high, coming in at $28,500. This is going to be the level that we need to break in order to see more upside for Bitcoin. Now, this level up here, we did wick up here. This was one of the levels that I was looking at to short, but we did have another level all the way down here that we were looking to go short on as well. This is kind of where we wound up going short from, and we didn't actually get up to this level, but this is also another really important level to be watching. However, most immediate level is going to be that $28,500 level. If we can get above there, we may get a chance to fight this level here. And then once we get above there, that's kind of where we open up the door to much higher prices. Now, obviously, guys, we do have that really, really, really macro important level of resistance, which is coming in, right here, right? We're kind of where I just drew those lines. And if we go ahead and pull a little bit of volume on this little range here, we've been doing this on the stream for a while. You can see that value area low of that range does come in right on these levels that we're testing right now, which is why I am calling this a very, very important level of resistance, because once we flip this top line right here again, the level coming in at about $28,934. This is your shot to flip this to support and then get this move up to first. Probably going to stop off at about $30,200 and then eventually get that move up to about $31,000. And at that point, we would be breaking Garrett Soloway's $30,500 level, which... again, as he was saying, if we held above there, maybe we kind of, create a bull pennant or something like that, and then we get that break to much higher prices. But just a couple of more key levels I want to grab here, guys, real quick, is going to be some macro golden pockets, or just some macro fib levels. Let me go ahead and grab that fib tool. I believe it's from, I'm going to have to go back and make this a little bit more accurate. But I just do have to zoom in a bit. Let's see. There we go. I do like to pull it from this little wick right there. And then we want to make sure that we are right at the bottom. Hopefully it's the bottom. Hopefully it's the bottom. All right, here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. There we go. Bing bang. Okay. So there you go, right? So we are testing that local golden pocket, and you can see right here in confluence with that 786 fib level, you do have that value area high as well. So this is going to be, this is going to be very, very important resistance as well. If we do want to get breaks into the high 30,000s or the that $48,000 to $50,000 level that we've been looking at, which is very far away, but also not out of the question. So guys, these are basically the major levels I'm looking at. Obviously, this level we're testing right now between about $28,935 and all the way to the bottom of this level at about 28.2. This is going to be a very, very, these are the major levels, right? If we break this level, I would look for a move up to this next purple box. Because, again, if you break above that value area low, that opens the move to come up, revisit your value area high of that previous range, and then you just want to remember you have your POC right in the middle, which is likely to add a little bit of volatility to the move. But that is basically the major levels that I am looking at right now for Bitcoin, guys. And then, again, for the shorter term stuff, I am just looking at that more local range, right? So kind of just playing this as a range until proven otherwise, guys. We do very, very well trading these ranges, going long from the lows, going short from the highs. As of right now, as long as we remain underneath this value area high, I would expect to potentially come either bing bong around between that POC and value area high, and then if we break the POC, that's where we will likely come down to your value area low. And if we're just going by the laws of the volume profile, we are expecting, as long as we remain under that value area high, we will eventually get a move all the way down to the value area low. And if we're looking for higher prices on Bitcoin, I'm not expecting it until we flip that value area high. And more specifically, if we could flip this purple box to support, that's where I think you get the bigger move up to, again, revisit that level up there at about 30,100 and then potentially get up there to about $31,000. And again, we also have some very, very, very interesting technical targets on a lot of interesting stuff that bring us right up into that level, guys. So again, I do remain bullish in the longer term, but again, with that daily bear div, I am just being very, very cautious. But again, just treating things as a sideways range because this gives us context into the market, guys. Right now, I'll be 100% honest with you. The daily's kind of saying there's more downside to come, but these medium hourly time frames look primed, guys. The money flow looks primed on these. Money flow coming back up on the 3 hour, money flow coming back up on the 2 hour. Your 6 hour and your 5 hour are coming back up. The 6 hour actually looks beautiful, and then your 8 hour looks even stronger than the 6 hour, with the green dot and the money flow coming straight up. So this is a bullish sign, and then the daily's giving you bearish signs, and the fact that we're just up against this major level of resistance is a very, very, very strong indication that we could get a move down. And you guys heard Garrett Soloway kind of talking about how he has started a starter short position. I have actually done the same thing. I am in a starter short position. I am also still in my long position as well, which is deep in profit. I've already locked in profits on the long. I have started a short position. If we get a move back up here to that 30,000 and then potentially, maybe wick up above this level, above that POC, I may, if we get bearish confirmations up in this range, I may start to add a little bit more to my short to hopefully ride it down a little bit. But yeah, these are the major levels that I am looking at. If we do get a big move to the downside, guys, or if we get some kind of a move to the downside, I'll just give you guys some levels of support that I would be looking at. We do have a local golden pocket coming in at about $23,718. This would be a decent level to watch. And then I will also pull one more golden pocket. We'll pull it from, I'm going to go ahead and pull it. I don't want to pull it from that scam wick. I'm going to pull it from the impulse all the way to the top. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. So there you go. We also at about $26,050. 786 coming in at $25,271. This would be another level to watch for some support, as we do have not only that golden pocket 786 retracement, but we also have we would also be retesting these highs that we were making all the way down here back in on March 14th. And I believe if we pull a little bit of a range here, yeah, there you go. That value area high coming in right there at the bottom of that box. So we could potentially come down and test those levels. So this would be a level I would be looking at. And then again, that golden pocket coming in down here at about $23,725. And then as you start working your way down, obviously you are getting closer to your macro value area high. I don't know if we're going to wind up coming down and retesting those levels, but don't forget, you also have, there you go, right? More confluence, guys. Take a look at this, right? Not only do you have the local value area high of this range, you also have the macro value area high of this range, and that 786 all come within that level between about 25,000 and about 25,300, right? So that is going to be a big level to watch. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to adjust this box just a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, and I'm actually going to make this box just on those levels, right? So there you go. That's really the level. If we come down, I would expect some support on that local golden pocket, right? Maybe we come down, break below the value area low. I would look for some bullish confirmations at that golden pocket, obviously. But if we break below that golden pocket, this would be the real level I would look to test. Again, coming in between about 25,000 and about 25,300. So there you go, guys. Kind of wish-washy right now. I would say, again, that daily is calling for more downside. Chemistry Bro said that's what I was talking about yesterday. God, I wish I knew exactly what you were talking about. The golden pocket, or you were talking about a value area high yesterday, potentially. But yeah, I don't doubt it, Kembro. I don't doubt it. You're usually looking at some pretty good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. But this was January 2021, I believe. Shout out to Crypto Pollo. Let's see. Creighton C says, could the lower time frames bleed into the daily? Yes, the lower time frames could bleed into the daily, but we really need to start seeing it. It's really the money flow that is hurting me on the daily here, Creighton. the bearish divergence is whatever. The thing that has me a little worried is that we do have money flow in agreement with that bear div. That's the one thing that has me a little bit worried. But again, this is kind of the only real bearish puzzle piece here. Until we start seeing the bear divs print on the 2-day, which is likely going to happen as well. But again, on the 2-day, the money flow is in complete disagreements with that bear div. This bearish divergence would indicate movements to the downside, but this money flow is coming up and fighting against that. So, although I wouldn't completely ignore this bear div when it prints, but I would, I would not take it not that I wouldn't take it seriously, but I wouldn't be betting the farm on that short because money flow is still coming up, and the money flow is, again, the thing that indicates the longer term trend. So the daily, where we have the opposite. The daily, the bear div is here, and the money flow is the complete opposite, right? The money flow is coming straight out. So we can see these lower time frames. Hopefully that 8-hour money flow can start bleeding into the 10-hour, and then or that 10-hour, it is bleeding into the 10-hour. But hopefully we need to see the 12 and the 16-hour really start to turn around with the money flow here. So once we start seeing that 12 and 16-hour money flow come up, that is likely where we can see that daily turnaround. And honestly, with these VWAPs ripping to the upside, looking for those green dots, we may get that. I will say this. I'm going to make a random, super speculative prediction here, guys. This, again, I am not saying this is going to happen. This is super speculative. This is just something that could wind up playing out. If we get that green dot here on this momentum wave, right, say around here, right, that is where we might get that next push up into this level here at about 30,250. And then that is where you might have your momentum wave come up and make a little bit of a lower high. But regardless of printing the bear div or not, I think you may get that where you kind of come up. And if it comes higher than that momentum wave, we may actually get that money flow to come back up. And that is likely to wind up, once we start seeing that happen on the 16-hour, that is where that is likely going to bleed into that daily. So short answer, yes, it can bleed into the daily. Longer answer, it could bleed into the daily, but we do have a lot of work to do. Shout out to Nate Quantum Divergences. Thank you, bro. I appreciate for that gifted membership. Who got it? Valley J was gifted that membership by Quantum Divergence. Shout out to Valley J. Shout out to BullishSauce.eth. Shout out to you, man, for gifting those 5 Frankie Candles memberships. And shout out to Travis Harris, Big Rad, Daddy Zach's just chatting. He said, we're super speculative. It's crypto. We're degens. Daddy Zach. I couldn't agree more, bro. I couldn't agree more. Shout out to Chonktown and Remington. Shout out to the Rifles. Cameron and let's see. That's about it. That's everybody who got gifted. Shout out to BullishSauce.eth and shout out to Nate Quantum Divergence for gifting those memberships. And Tony D gifted one as well. Shout out to Tony D. And yeah, shout out to everybody who just won that membership. Welcome to the Mafia. Bing bong. Make it rain, baby. Make it rain. Let's go. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Oh, God, I just cleaned up all this money. I got to pick it up again. All right, we got 886 people in here, guys. We got to run this thing up to at least 850 likes. If we get 850 likes, I will spin that Wheel of Pain and Pleasure 15 times. Go ahead and smash that like button for your boy. Smash it for the CandleMafia. If you don't want to smash it for me, smash it for the dang CandleMafia. Let's see. Oh, my God. Harley Lynch. Big shout out to Harley Lynch. Said, just had my wisdom teeth pulled out. All 4 of them and still watching the stream. Let's go. Harley Lynch. That's dedication right there. And I do see a lot of money in your future. With the discipline like that, I see a lot of money in your future. Let's see. Crypto Craze says, how do I get a free membership? There we go. Let's get those emojis in the chat, baby. Let's get it. And they say, how do I get the free membership? People just gift them randomly in chat, and it goes to random people in the chat. Let's see. Daddy Zach said, Frankie, we love you. Here's some money. Let's hit 100K. Name on the building. Shout out to Daddy Zach. I appreciate you, bro. Let's go. Daddy Zach's a super OG. For anybody who doesn't know what he's talking about, if we are the first channel at the Hit Network to hit 100,000 subscribers, we will get our name on the building in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's going to be super epic. Let's get to 100K. We're almost at 50. Let's go. I'll be honest, we hit 50K way faster than I thought we would. But guys, let's go ahead and continue on. That's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Those are the key levels to watch. Again, that $25,000 level is going to be huge. That is going to be one of the biggest levels to hold if we do wind up getting a big move to the downside. The question is, if we do get a move to the downside, are we going to get it? Are we going to get it from here, or are we going to get another rip up before we get that move down? So that is the question, but that is what I'm looking at, and those are the key levels to look at. Now, if you want me to take a look at your altcoins, guys, go ahead and throw them in chat. so we could go ahead and take a look at them. And shout out again to Daddy Zach for that $10 super chat. And shout out to bullishsauce.eth and everybody who has been gifting the memberships. And shout out to Indiana Candles for the $5 super chat. Said, I was late, but I'm here. Don't hurt me, boss. Indiana Candles, we'll let you slide this time. I'm just kidding, Indiana Candles. You can come in late whenever you want, bro. We got you covered, bro. We got your late pass. I got the fake late pass. I'm slinging those fake late passes on the side after class. Let's go. All right. Let's go ahead. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Chemistry Bro said that wedge break is up a nice little 1% now. Let's go. And I missed it. My limit entry was like $10. Let's go. Shout out to you, man. Let's go. Dave Digital said we tried Frankie face emoji, but they gave it an R rating, and this is a family show. Shout out to Dave Digital. Yeah, we don't want to freak out the kids with my face. All right, let's see. All right, let's continue on. Go ahead and throw those altcoins in there. And then while Rob, the crypto snob, is counting up the votes and getting that list ready for us, let's go. Let's go ahead and check out Ethereum, or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. Let's go ahead and check it out. So, Ethereum also hitting up against some very, 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 very interesting resistance. Let's just zoom out here and just kind of see the caliber. Like very, very similar resistance. We're actually holding above that key level we're holding above that key level that Bitcoin would have to hold on. Ethereum seems to actually be holding that same level. Shout out to Panda Storm for the $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Panda Storm. Panda Storm says, thank you, Frankie, for your awesome teaching. Really making the gains. Love the CandleMafia. Shout out to Panda Storm. We were chilling in the Discord. Yeah, Panda Storm's crushing it. Shout out to you, Panda Storm. Just remember, I'm just here to help. You are the one trading, and like I said with Gareth just now, that's the hard part. Learning the TA, and teaching the TA is the easy part. But you're doing the hard part. You're taking the trades. You're trusting the TA. You're managing the emotion. You're keeping your psychology in check, and you're using risk management, right? So you're doing the hard part. I'm doing the easy part. So shout out to you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for that super chat. Let's see. Nate says, Frankie should get a bonus from YouTube for community gifting. Check mark tomorrow, or this I cannot forgive. And you don't want to piss off Nate Quantum Divergence. I'm telling you. I pissed him off by accident one time, and it's not a good thing. Not a good thing. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Yeah, let's get it. Going for 850 likes, guys. Don't forget, smash that like button if you have not already. Ethereum testing at 786 fib level, which is the bottom of this purple box. Perfectly tapping on the door here. However, yeah. Oh, God, interesting. I will say this. ETH has been front-running Bitcoin slightly on some of this stuff, and that 16-hour money flow is curving to the upside, 12-hour money flow curving to the upside, and they already has those green dots, right? Bitcoin is looking to print them. Ethereum is already printing them, right? So we could kind of take a look at Ethereum to kind of get a look into what Bitcoin is going to do, assuming it's going to follow, but it actually has been recently. But I can't help but just see price coming up and momentum coming down, which is never a good sign and usually does warrant a correction, right? So just keeping an eye on that. We are probably pretty close. This is a fresh 16-hour green dot. This is likely going to give us more movement to the upside. Are we going to crack in to the 1900s for Ethereum? Definitely a possibility here. We have not hit that $1,900 level yet, but we may go ahead and test it. Maybe a decent place to be looking for some shorts, because $1,900 is going to give you that psychological level of resistance. But green dot on your 16 and 12-hour has got me feeling good. Money flow crossing over into the green on your 10-hour, 8-hour also coming into the green. However, again, just still kind of just seeing price coming up with momentum coming down does make me a little nervous. But there you go. There you go. So looking at ETH, guys, ETH did get the VWAP flip, right? It got the red dot with the immediate green dot. Are we going to see this happen on Bitcoin tonight? If we do, that would be a bullish sign in my opinion. However, money flow still didn't really correct itself, right? Money flow is still coming out on ETH. So again, the bearish case does lie on the daily time frame right now, guys, for sure. But yeah. All right, let's go ahead and see Dave Brumbelow, 100% not financial advice. I want to make sure I say that clearly after what I'm about to read. Says, if you feel like you must be in a trade, put put in a $20 1x trade with no stop loss and just let it ride until you find a real trade, cheap entertainment, and gives you something to look at. Shout out to Dave from below. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, just spitting those facts for the Candle Mafia. Let's get it. But yeah, VWAP flip on the daily, that would somewhat be good, but money flow still does look pretty nasty. Your 5-day money flow is in the green. Again, a little bit deeper than it is on Bitcoin, as this has been a little bit of a leading factor. And you could see that money flow in on the 6-day actually is kind of coming to the upside. So again, guys, longer term, definitely still leaning bullish. We're going to have to take a pretty big dump for me to lose my bullish sentiment at this point. But please do not get mistaken. If we do get that move down and we crack certain levels, I will flip bearish. Shout out to Crypto Gideon again for the 5 gifted memberships. Again, bro, thank you so much. Again, I did just kind of realize how, that's not, depending on what memberships he's gifting, that's times 5. It's not a little amount of money. So I really do appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much. But yeah, shout out to Insanu OP, Damian Fowler, Austin Bailey, Jason Roddy, and Bomsky for the memberships. You guys just got free memberships. If you didn't know, now you know. Shout out to If You Don't Know, Now You Know. You guys know that song? I think you do. Who doesn't know that song? All right, here we go. All right, let's see. $20 is actually perfect for that. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Or if you guys just are bored, you guys can always hop on that TradingView paper trade account. I wonder if I'm in any paper trades on this. I haven't looked at this in a while. Oh no, I'm down $3,000, guys. I'm down $3,000. Dang. This is actually crazy. This went upside down. What is this? This is a mask short. Oh my God. When was this? Does it say when this was put in? I don't know. Yeah, this is just a paper trade. I didn't even know if I had this. I didn't even know I had this open. But anyway, yeah, use a paper like this. I'm down $3,500. I don't care because it's fake money. So maybe just play around with that. If you guys didn't know, there are certain exchanges that can hook up to TradingView so you could trade live on your TradingView chart. Super, super cool. We're actually going to be talking about an exchange that I believe has that available for this. I believe it does. However, see all brokers. There we go. BitGet's on here. Interesting. But there's some, I did not know BitGet was on this. That's really, really cool. We might have to play around with that. But we have another exchange that we're going to be taking a look at, guys, that has some really, 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 really cool features. But anyway, let's continue on here. That is what I'm looking at for Ethereum. Again, up against crazy, crazy resistance here. But if we do get a break, that next major level I would be looking at is 1900, and that is likely going to be a strong level because you have the psychological level. And then if you get above that, let me pull up that VPVR real quick. We do have... Yeah, there we go. Bada boom. Zoom in a bit. Yeah, so if we get above that level, I would look for a move up to that $1,900 level, and then the next major level there is going to be about $2,000, guys. If we get above that $1,900 level, it gives us an opportunity to attack that $2,000 level, right? Right there, right? So 19,000 would be right here, and then we could come up and attack that $2,000 level where we have a high volume node. Yeah, and that would be the next level I would be looking at. But again, looking very similar to Bitcoin on the technicals, or the indicators, rather. Okay, let's see. We're still in an uptrend, and I'm still bullish until we break 24K. Yeah, David, I'm basically in the same boat. Definitely leaning bullish long term until we start breaking like 25K. I start to worry. 24K. Really, really start to worry. All right, let's see. I turned 500 into 500,000, slightly more this month. Paper trading on TradingView. VSlim, let's go. Maybe it's time to fire up the old Femex account. Speaking of Femex, if you guys want to sign up for Femex, you can use the link in the description to take advantage of the deal they have going on right now, which is 10% off of all fees. And I do believe they are doing a deposit bonus depending on how much you deposit into the account. They will add some bonus funds in there for you to trade with. And link is in the description down below. And you will also help support the channel. Let's go. All right, here we go. Take a look at XRP. Bada boom. There it is, right? Massive move up to 50. Spread the love. It's the Brooklyn way. Shout out to Daddy Zach. Shout out to you, bro. Man, that's like your second or third super chat this stream. Let's go. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much, Daddy Zach. I appreciate you. Okay, let's go ahead and continue on. Let's see. Yeah, we'll take a look at Matic. We could take a look at Matic. All right. XRP with a pretty decent move, right? Obviously, we had that big move up to 50 cents. Big correction and a little bit of a bounce. Was it a golden pocket retrace is the question. I'm not even going to pull it from this little scam wick. I'm going to pull it from this local wick right here. Bada boom, bada bing. It was a golden pocket retest right in line with that level of, let's see, is the value area high? No. Right in line with this level here. Guys, we don't just give you random levels here. We give you levels with context, right? This is not only a local golden pocket retest, but it's also the value area low of this previous range, making it an important level of resistance. And yeah, if we can't get back above this, guys, we are likely going to make a move to the downside. Red dot printing on the 4 hour, not looking great. I mean, not that it's not looking great, but, you know, obviously is indicating more downside. 2 hour red dot is got a VWAP flip. Oh, God, yeah. Okay, the mixed signals are out. Maybe I was wrong, guys. The mixed signals are out. VWAP flip on that 2 hour would be somewhat of a bullish sign. 3 hour is printing the red dot, but does, yeah. 3 hour red dot printing, excuse me. 90-minute, yeah, green dot VWAP flip. Yeah, really mixed around on XRP for sure. Thank God I'm in a long and a short right now because things are hard to read tonight. Yeah, no bearish divergences, but you are getting the 6 hour red dot. You are getting the 5 hour red dot is about to print. Your 6 hour red dot is printing. Your 4 hour red dot is printing. But I would just kind of be careful here because you are starting to play red dot, green dot here with the flip. So, you know, this will confirm in about 28 minutes. So unless this thing starts tanking, if that confirms, that would add a little murkiness to the water that we call the charts. All right. So, yeah, if you do get a move to the downside, I would say, I mean, let's see. Yeah. Shout out to Tony D for that super chat. He says, whoever finds it helpful, all live streams are timestamped live. At the end of each stream, the video will be broken into chapters for your convenience. So if you get to the live stream late and you're saying like, oh, I don't want to scrub through this whole thing and try to find XRP, there will be a little chapter at the bottom of the little playhead thing that you drag that will say XRP, and you can just click on XRP, or you could just go to the description and you can actually click on the timestamps and it will just bring you right to that part of the video. Super, super helpful. So yeah, check that out because we get asked all the time, did he look at this yet? Just go to the description and click on the coin you want to see. It'll just bring you right there and tell you what I think about it. But yeah, so we are kind of stuck here. If we reject this golden pocket, which would be somewhat likely if you're going by the laws of a retracement here, next immediate level of support, I would say, we'll pull it from here to here. Yeah. I would look for a move down to about, if we do get that move down, I would look for some support at about 0.429 cents or almost 43 cents, just short of 43 cents. That is likely to give you some form of a bounce. So I'm going to go ahead and put, I'm only going to mark out the, actually I'll mark out both, right? There you go. Why did that happen why were those not lines and why were those rays? Bomb. Okay, there we go. So there you go. So I would watch that level for some support. A little boom, a little bing, a little bong. There we go. So yeah, that would be your first level that I would be looking at, coming in between about 0.429 cents and 0.427 cents. If we get a bigger move down, I would look down towards that 42 cent level, almost 42 cents even. And if we break that level, you may be coming back down to test that value area high at about 40 cents. So that's kind of what I would expect. If we do get a move to the upside, guys, you want to remember that we do have this previous value area. We do have this previous value area that we were trading in, and the POC of that range is basically where we got rejected last time that we got a big pump. But if we get another pump, that's likely to give you some resistance as well as the previous value area high of the range. And yeah, those would be the next targets to the upside, getting you close to 50 cents again. But again, if we continue down, I would watch the main level that I would want to hold to remain bullish on further moves up for XRP would be that value area high. I would flip a little bit more bearish if we break that value area high. But if we come down to that local golden pocket, I would still be holding hope. We would also be testing this pretty important level that we broke, this high up here at about 43 cents that we made all the way back in January of 2023, which is this year. All right, let's see. Bada boom, bada boom, bada boom. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to Bubba's Crypto. Says, or just watch the whole thing. Hey, let's go. Screw the timestamps. Just watch the whole dang stream. Let's go. Shout out to the Aztecian Cactus Moss Water. Some people say it looks like a Monster can. I say fake news. Anyway, let's go. Taking a look at Algo. Okay. This let's look at a different Algo. That's a mess. Let's see. We'll look at a Coinbase chart. There we go. And let's go ahead and dig in. Bitcoin on a little bit of a pumper here. Let's go ahead and check in on that. There we go. About to be break even on the short. No! I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. If I get stopped out of this trade, it doesn't affect me. I'll just be like, okay, cool. We lost that one. But anyway, continuing on Algo. Bada boom. Let's pull that range right there. This is basically the major range that I would be looking at. These are the levels I would be looking at. It's just a value area high, a POC, and a value area low. But these are basically, this is the range that I would kind of be keeping a lookout for. If we flip that POC, I would expect to move back up to your value area high. Let me pull this. Let me pull that local fib. Yeah. So if we wind up getting a little bit of a deviation out of this range, guys, I would look for a potential. Let's say we do get a move up. Let's say Bitcoin pushes and we get a breakout of this range. I would look here for some potential short positions. And we might actually get a push up to that 786 coming in at about 20.2343 cents. But again, major levels of resistance. I'm actually just going to kind of, let me go ahead and, yeah, there we go. Okay. So, yeah, that is kind of a level that I would be looking for some potential shorts, only if we get some confirmations. I'm not just blindly shorting that level. You want confirmations to get into the trade. Printing that monthly red dot. Oh, God, what are you guys talking about? Not on Algo. On Algo? Monthly red dot printing? No. No red dot here. However, does look like a VWAP might flop. But anyway, guys, let's come down. Let's just actually come down and look at this TA here. Let's see. Taking a look at the daily on, yeah, see, this is, oof. Looking like Bitcoin, guys. Money flow coming out, VWAP coming down as well. This is not the best look for Algorand. I'm not going to lie. I think you could potentially move down a little bit off of this, based off of this money flow and that VWAP. Taking a look at your 16-hour and your 12-hour. Money flow does not look as good as it is on Bitcoin. 10-hour is working in the right direction, but no crossover into the green. Oh, God. Chat's going off the rails. Bath time is starting for the kids. So here come the big signals. Shout out to Corey Mack. We'll call you. We'll call you if anything happens, brother. But, yeah. Okay. Yeah, money flow going in the right direction, just not looking as good as Bitcoin. 8-hour money flow is kind of creeping out. Kind of creeping up, kind of creeping out, kind of indecisive there. 6-hour, looking for the green dots. Money flow is looking pretty good on that 6-hour coming up. VWAP kind of getting rejected at the 0 line. Taking a look at our 4-hour red dot printing. Yeah. Money flow is generally coming out on that 4-hour, guys, and you did get that bearish divergence. So this may, right? So you did have that bear div, higher highs on your price action with lower highs on your momentum waves, right? You got the move down, but money flow is continuing to come out with that red dot. We may be able to break this range. If we do wind up losing this point of control, I would obviously look for some support on your value area low down here near 21 cents. If you break your value area low, where would the next area that you want to look at be? I would say keep an eye on, keep an eye on this golden pocket coming in between about 0.2057 cents and 0.2037 cents, right? Golden pocket right here. If, and even so, yeah, I would also watch that 786. If you break that, because you guys will notice the volume gap here, right? You got the volume gap a little, right? So we come below that value area low. If we don't, I would honestly, I'll tell you what, I'll give you guys a little bit of a freebie. What I would look for here is a little bounce and then another little bounce. I would look for lower lows. I would look for lower lows into that level of support, that local golden pocket, with a momentum wave on that 4-hour coming down like this, giving us Or no, I guess that wouldn't. I would have to pop up on a lower time frame. Let's come down the time frame, see if I could find it for you. Yeah, and then I would look for a momentum wave for something like this on the 1 hour to actually come down, your momentum wave to come down, give you a higher low, as you are actually getting a lower low on your price action, would give you a bullish divergence there if you can get those bullish confirmations. Not just a bullish divergence here, but you would also want to have other confirmations on the lower time frames and potentially the higher time frames to look for a long back up to the value area high. If you were to get that, right, you would expect, let's say you did get the confirmations, you entered the long position, and you got to move, you would look to flip that value area low, and once you did that, you would look to get that move all the way back up to your value area high. So that's kind of what I would look for on algo if we do get that move into the golden pocket. However, if we lose that golden pocket, please understand, once you lose about 20 cents even, right here, 20 cents even, I'm going to go ahead and go into the settings here, and we're going to go ahead and change this line to bright red, and we're going to make it thick, right? Because this is, she thick. I don't know why I said that. That was kind of creepy. Somebody clip it. But yeah, we'll make it nice and thick, because if we lose that level, guys, probably going to be a quick move down to your 786. If you can't hold the 786, you may come back down to some of these more brutal levels down here. I would look specifically at about 19 cents. So, yeah, that's kind of your low volume gap here, right? So let's see. Let's go here. Let's go here. LVG, low volume gap. No B, not LVGB. LVG, low volume gap. Probably going to be a pretty quick fall through here, right? We'll even grab a little trend line, and we'll even go do one of these. Double click on it. Give you the arrows, letting you know low volume gap. Low volume gap. There we go. Let's see. Okay, I guess I can't. It won't let me copy it. Let me copy this. Come on. Is it shift? Come on. Let me drag the arrow, Trading View. Okay, it won't let me drag the arrow, but there you go. LVG, if we break that red dot, this red line, I would expect a quick move back down to these levels here at about 19 cents. All right, let's go. Oh, no, Tony D just timestamps she thick. Oh, boy. Let's see. Oh, my Algorand is locked up for 19 days. I like water. I like turtles. Let's go. Shout out to you, bro. Hey, it's not a guarantee that we make it down there. We would have to break all these levels first. It's not a guarantee we get down there. But let's see. Shout out to Ace, or Ace, I should say, said, Frankie, you haven't shared the strategy where you enter a trade with low leverage and increase the leverage while in profit. I have thought about it before, but it drops my margin, which is the point, right? So with that strategy, right, like if you're going to enter a position on 1x leverage, what you could do is you could enter with a lot of capital. I'll kind of explain it here. You could enter with a lot of capital, and basically what that does is you could enter with a lot of capital on 1x leverage, right? You can't get liquidated, right? So it's a little bit of a safer position. And then once you get enough in profit, you can jack up your leverage, which will pull your margin out, which frees up capital to put that capital into other trades. But by raising your leverage and pulling the capital out, you remain in that same size position, right? So if you put $10,000 in, you raise the leverage, you can drop your actual margin a lot while keeping that $10,000 position. You're replacing the margin with leverage, but it's a very, very safe way to trade because you're already in profit, right? So once you're in that profit, then you're jacking up the leverage, and you can move your stop loss to break even or just make it really, really tight. So if you do wind up going the wrong way, it's very little risk, right? So you're pulling your money out of the position so you don't have to hold that money in the position, which frees your capital up for other investments or other trades, but you're also keeping that same exact position size, profiting just as much as if you had that much money in there, right? So does that make sense? I'm going to try to make a video about that, guys, and explain it a little bit more in detail, but I figured I'd just give you a little brief breakdown of that for Ace right here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Matic, and then we'll take a look at ADA. There you go. Shout out to Ace. There you go. Hopefully that cleared it up. Hopefully that cleared it up for you a little bit. Okay. Let's go ahead and see. Oh, God. I feel like, Rob, you missed the end. It was fire AF. Oh, God, what are you guys talking? I feel missed out. Time for the spins. Let's go. Now I feel like I missed something. Instead of Y-files, they should call it Y channel and his Y. What are you guys talking about? Dave Digital, fill me in. Fill me in. What am I missing? What am I missing? Let me know, Dave. Let me know. But let's go ahead and continue on here. Okay. Yeah, Crypto Gus, it will give you a liquidation price, right? Because 1x, you can't get liquidated on 1x, right? But if you jack it up to 100x, you bet your bottom dollar you're going to have a liquidation price for sure. No problem, Steve. Steven Atwell, let's go, bro. Shout out to you. Okay. Oh, hey, shout out to Dave. Oh, tonight is Hecklefish in the Discord in the off-topic section. I got to Rob the Crypto Snob says, long story. I'll never know. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Matic real quick, guys. And then we'll take a super quick look at ADA, and then we will go ahead and spin those wheels. For Matic, I'm going to run through this one really quickly, guys. Money flow on the daily is continuing to the downside, but your VWAP is coming up. But overall, this would technically be bearish for Matic. The fact that your money flow is coming out is definitely not the best look. Also, does look kind of head and shouldery. Take a look at your 12 and 16-hour VWAPs. Looking for the green dot. Money flow kind of curving up, but not really. You're still far away from that zero line, but you're likely going to print those green dots very soon. Take a look at your 10-hour. Green dot confirmed. Money flow kind of coming up a little bit. Taking a look at your 4-hour. Looking for the red dot. Taking a look at the 2-hour. Let's see. Yeah, I would say sideways. It looks like you may just continue to kind of range sideways here. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't even look at this local range. I would just keep an eye on these macro ranges, guys. Right now, come on, volume. There we go. So yeah, your next immediate level of resistance is going to be your POC coming in at about $1.14. And if we go ahead and pull our, I'm going to pull it from these wicks up here. Yeah, you are testing that local golden pocket right now. So if, technically we tap the local value area low, tap that POC, lost it. If we can get above that POC, that would open up the door for more upside on Matic. Yeah, what we really want to do is hop on top of that POC and break into this low volume gap. If we do that, we can actually, you see the gap right here, we can actually go ahead and make it up to about $1.18, where we do have some local golden pockets, plenty of resistance up there for us to bounce our heads off to. But if we can get above that POC, might be a quick move up into this purple box on our way to revisit the value area high at about $1.20. All right, let's go ahead and see. XR Pete says, I'm watching, way behind right now, but Gareth is goated. Awesome stuff. Shout out to XR Pete. Thank you for being here, bro. The AI in your Quantum PC is actually a joker as well. Let's see. All right, let's go ahead and continue on. Okay. Hey, what's up, Cozy Babe? I see you, Cozy Babe. Let's go. Shout out to you. Thank you for being here. All right, guys, let's go ahead. And that was pretty quickly. That was pretty quick. But yeah, just looking at your major resistance, 786 POC at about $1.14 is going to be your major level of resistance with that high volume node. But again, once you get up there, it opens up the door to make your way up to $1.17 and then potentially $1.20. All right, let's take a quick look at ADA before we spin this wheel. And let's check it out. Okay, let's go ahead and pull this range right here. There we go, right? Oh, baby. No bear div here. No, let's check the regular candles, though. Oh, baby, slight bear div on ADA at the value area high. Slight bear div on ADA at the value area high. Boom, boom. Lower highs. It is printing. Money flow is coming out. That could potentially give you a move back down towards your point of control, coming in at about 36 cents, right? So it might get that move back down to 36 cents. If you lose that POC, you don't have to come much deeper past this POC to start falling down closer towards that 34-cent mark and potentially down towards that value area low at about 32 cents. So again, with these volume profiles, although this one is kind of wonky, you typically go from the low to the high. If you don't go back to the low, typically you go to the POC, then back to the high, POC, back to the high, POC, back to the high, POC, then the value area low, right? So again, the volume profiles typically bring you from the highs to the lows, back to the highs. So now you would technically expect to come back to the lows. However, we have to lose that POC first. So due to the laws of the volume profile and that bear div, I would expect to potentially, if we could break that POC, get a move back down towards that value area low. And with the bear div and money flow coming out on the 4-hour, it's definitely in the cards. Your 10-hour doesn't look too bad. Looking to print a red dot here, but money flow looks good. 12-hour money flow coming up, 16-hour money flow coming up. Daily looking the same as Bitcoin with the money flow coming out, but no red dot printing just yet. We may have some more downside for Cardano, but taking a look at the higher time frames, your 6-hour green dot is printing. However, your money flow is still looking pretty gross. Your 5-hour green dot is also printing or confirmed with your money flow coming up. But yeah, money flow does not look great on ADA, guys. Dang, if you ever wanted cheap ADA, guys, ADA is still chilling. ADA is still chilling. Your 2-day money flow is in the green, so that is a good sign. But again, I would just be working this local range. And again, with the 4-hour bear div, the fact that you hit your value area high and the money flow coming out on your 4-hour, money flow technically coming out on your 2-hour still. 1 hour is also technically coming out. Kind of hard to read here. I would say sideways. I would just say keep an eye on the local range, guys. I'd be playing this local range before expecting any kind of crazy move. Unless we break out of that value area high, I'm not expecting major upside. And until we break that value area low, I'm not expecting too much downside. But if we break these lows from down here at about 29.7 or 0.297 cents, if we break 30 cents, guys, things can get real ugly for ADA. But again, we're really far. That's why I'm just looking at this local range. All right, let's go ahead and spin that dang wheel of pain and pleasure. We got 624 people in here. Let's go ahead and pull up the wheel. Let's go. All right, wheel, pain and pleasure. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Hey, what's going on here? Okay, there we go. Wheel of pain and pleasure. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Let's go. Dave, I heard you were a POC back in high school. Shout out to Wick589. Let's go. All right, let's go ahead and how many spins we got? We got 7 spins. Almost hit that $850 like goal, but not quite, guys. Not quite. But let's go ahead and get. Oh, shout out to Wesley Morris. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. I love you, man. I love you. He said, Frankie, tell me you love me. I love you. I love you, Wesley. Oh, he said I need it. He said, hey, multi-sig dummy in the chat. Wait, hang on. Wesley says he needs it, bro. I don't know if you're joking around, but bro, if you need to hear that you're loved, bro, trust me, you just hit up Frankie Candles. I love you, Wesley. Don't if you're actually hurting out there, don't be tripping over whatever it is. Trust me. I know some things are bad, but everything passes. Dark Crash says crickets. Let's see. Wesley says hates me. I don't know who he's talking about. Multi-sig dummy in the chat. Let's go. Caught the end. You on tomorrow? Gary Rogers, I will be on tomorrow. Absolutely. I guess we'll see you there. Looks like you're probably just checking in real quick. Shout out to you, bro. Let's go. All right, here we go. Spin numero tres. Let's get it. Multi-sig dummy said, oh yeah, in chat for life. Let's get it. LFG, World Bet. Let's go. Where's Dave Digital? Where's he at? I haven't seen a chat. Oh, there he is. He said exclamation mark language. Let's go. Dave Digital is the funniest CandleMafia member. Yeah. Yeah. He's the amount of times that I see him say something and I think about it later on in the day and it makes me laugh out loud while I'm by myself like I'm a psychopath is pretty funny. Dave Digital said, I would be offended, but Frankie Candles just called me a POC. LFG, let's go. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, but did you say it all sexy like that? I thought I was going to hear him say, baby. Like, wait, I love you, baby, or you're a POC, baby? I don't know. Shout out to Dave Digital. Shout out to the CandleMafia. Let's go. All right, let's see here. What do we got? 5. We got 2 more spins. Let's get it. What do we have? 700 and what? 700 even? 717 likes. 600 people in here. Let's go. All right. Nope. Rugged on that one. And we'll do one more. Come on, baby. Let's go. Cozy Babe in the chat. Let's get it. Let's go. Shout out. There we go. Give him a giveaway, baby. Let's go. 7. We got 1, 2. We got 6 out of 7, baby. Let's go. Not too bad, even for a trading strategy. Shout out to the CandleMafia. 6 giveaways. That's for the mods. Shout out to you guys. And let's go ahead. And that's all the time we got for tonight's stream, guys. Let's go ahead and bring it back to the FaceTime here. Let's go. Let's see. CandleMafia yearbook. Dave. Yo, let's go. Shout out to Bubba's Crypto. We should do a CandleMafia yearbook. Let's see. It'll just be like pictures of your avatars, but they'll be really, really pixelated because we'll have to zoom in on them to make them visible. But it'll be really funny. Let's see. They don't call it the sauce for nothing. Let's go. Let's get to 850 likes, guys. Let's get it. But guys, with all that being said, that is all the time we got for tonight, guys. Smash that like button if you enjoyed Garrett Soloway, guys. He's always coming through, dropping that knowledge, and I appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up with your bowls of dry spaghetti, dry macaroni, to get that sauce dumped onto your pasta, guys. Shout out to the Candle Mafia. I appreciate every single one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for showing up every single day. That's what keeps me coming back and spitting the sauce to you guys. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to our boy DZ. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. Breaking news. This is not only the fastest Frankie Candles fake out, but also Joel from Hit Network Gaming. Dun, 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 dun. You guys know that? I feel like I'm like the John Cena guy. John Cena! Joel from Hit Network Gaming, guys, is doing a 24-hour stream tomorrow. And I'm not making any promises, but after the stream, I just may head back to the office to go hang out with them and maybe play some Fortnite, or maybe I'll just do some more TA on the Hit Network Gaming channel and no one will know what I'm talking about. They'll be like, this isn't Fortnite. What the heck? That's all I got, Candle Mafia. Go check out Hit Network Gaming, and don't forget, 24-hour stream tomorrow night. You never know who shows up. Maybe I'll pop in. I'll see you guys tomorrow, either way, at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hasta Pasta Mafia. I love each and every single one of you. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong.
Tyler Ramos.